So what made Super Mario Bros. 3 so amazing was the Star Worlds. None of the other versions had anything like that.
Lost Planet, I can hear it.
I think we should just mute it. Fuck, I can't. Nope, I'm gonna push everything down, and you just clicked on the Lost Planet ad. Guess for you.
That's gonna be in my nightmares later.
Kill Big. 7 out of 10. Games Radar.
What are we doing?
We're doing Podcast 101, Henry. Why are we even trying?
Can we welcome to a 6-minute podcast? So you're joining us after TalkRadar 100, which was how long, Chris? Did you make that?
6 hours. I did not make it that long, by the way. I had a careful plan, and I realized right before the podcast started that this plan wasn't going to work. And it was like that or hire a clown. Like I didn't have another fucking option.
What was the ratio of new content to old? Like percentage or hours?
I think new content was a little over 50%.
Okay.
It was a little over 50% because that last ending thing with everybody in a room is like 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was really good too.
45 minutes. I was sort of proud of it, although I haven't heard it the way it was intended to be. I realized I went to Vancouver to see a Pirates game, the Pirates of the Caribbean game, the Coup, which I'll talk about in a bit. And I didn't bring a mouse and I didn't bring headphones. So I was editing on a broken pair of earbuds using both of my hands and a touchpad.
I listened to it over the weekend. That part
sound okay?
That part
like,
sounded
Jesus.
fine. Yeah.
All right, so the love, seriously, the nice things everybody said for that, like all the stuff on Twitter.
The article got over 200 comments.
Over 200 comments.
It was incredible, and then like I definitely said, let's not do another show this week because we can't live up to any of the expectations.
And you'll see we were right.
Yes, yep. I will prove everybody correct.
Not just another 99 till 200. Let's start the count now.
Just every May, every May, expect 50 or 100.
Should we introduce ourselves?
Sometime eventually. But let's Iron Man. No, go ahead. You do it first.
I'm Michael Raparez.
Yeah.
I'm Brett Elston.
Oh yeah, we have sound effects.
Remember? Wow, you sound so
I'm
excited.
so tired, man. I'm so tired.
TalkRadar.
TalkRadar.
How did that work? Oh, and I'm Henry Gilbert.
Yes, and I don't matter because I'm tired. Yeah.
Jesus.
My consciousness is coming back to me. Give me another couple beers. Games Radar. You know why this week was special?
Because 3D Game Heroes came out?
Hell yeah.
Because we're still here and the good Lord shines upon us.
Oh, because Lost explained the mystery with the worst answers of all time.
Oh my God.
I heard everybody was pretty disappointed, but I don't watch that show.
It really resulted in
stupid.
this is all magic.
Yeah, it was basically I don't want to get into it.
Was it worse than midichlorians?
It's not. It's approaching that, but it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's approaching because that's literally it's all going to come down to, well, that's the way
he was protecting it. Why? Because it was foretold.
But what was it? It was magic.
It was magic.
Why? Shut up.
Because it can't be explained. That is why that deserves a ta-da. Try and kick off some sound effects. But no, I was saying it was special because we did top 7 this week.
Oh, wow.
Which is very rare in 101.
I know, it's only once every Monday.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of hours in between each one of those.
If you compare that to how many times you breathe in a week, that's pretty rare.
I enjoyed, I love our UK guys. But there are some cultural differences in games which are fantastic to see.
I do like Hover Bubber.
And so we're all going to have, I know we're going to have a couple of issues with this, but that's because it was more important to us as US gamers.
Right.
But, and some of this didn't, I love that you put it on here, but I never got this. The top 7 game demos.
Yeah, best demos of all time.
Just very, very weird to quantify.
I like that idea because it's such a weird. I mean, I know OXM comes with a demo disc now, but to me, the demo disc as I remember it is dead. Where I would go to a store and pay $3 for this disc,
$3 for a demo disc. The PlayStation Underground.
PlayStation Underground, yeah. Like weird ones would come with a magazine would have one game, like this Iron and Blood fighting game. I had it was terrible.
Or Dreamcast would keep it came with a demo disc, and you could keep getting ones that had updated web.
What's that game with the
interface.
president in it when he's in the mech?
Metal Wolf Chaos.
Metal Wolf Chaos only came to America on an OXM demo disc.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
That's the only time you can play it on your American Xbox. Weird shit like that. Weird shit like that.
And these are the best, apparently.
And these are the best. And I agree with it. They're definitely the best games. But I want to state to the kiddies that if you're not thinking in a pre-Xbox Live construct, you're not going to understand why this works and why this is special.
Because most of them you just download now.
Exactly. Like a demo for Split Second has been out for like 3 weeks and that hasn't come out yet at all.
Right.
You don't understand.
They're
you
not
don't
very
understand.
special now.
You don't understand. They're
And
not
it's
very
free.
special. And it's free.
Yeah.
And like the beta, like I wondered, like should beta be a demo?
Yeah, you don't have to buy Toe Ball number 1 to get. These.
Somebody was asking me like, what are you most excited for at E3? I'm like, Halo. No shit, everybody is playing that. Like
The Last Guardian.
They're
not going to have a beta
Last
for
Guardian,
that.
They'll never have a beta.
Nope.
They'll never have a beta. But this is
what was on their list?
No, then again, Ico had a demo on one of those PlayStation 2 demo discs.
Yeah, the
which is how I played it in the first place. So,
exactly.
So never mind.
I played it too.
But I think this is a little more special. The things he managed to find. Who wrote this thing?
Justin Towell.
Justin Towell
from our UK. Games Radar US is a ditch. So theirs would be a trolley. What do they have?
Justin and Towell and I are kindred spirits, despite never having met. Because number 7,
Sega bullshit.
Yes, number 7 on the list is Panzer Dragoon Saga. Please indulge me for 1 second.
It's the music. It's good music.
Dude, that's great title screen music, even though it's from the first Panzer Dragoon.
I was gonna say, why didn't you play the first stage of Panzer Dragoon? That soaring orchestral music.
That's there. That's like right when you hit. That's the title screen.
Yeah, that's
dude.
the title.
It's
Man,
like a call to fucking arms.
Those are 2 games. That was the first top 7 I think of the year. Was that 90s games that need remakes?
Yeah.
And Panzer Dragoon was on there, but Saga is like this.
Saga's insane.
This holy grail of games that are like so few printed on Saturn, and I recently bought on eBay for $230.
It was $20K. I think that's what it came down to.
It was super low.
According to Games Radar, it's the best Sega Saturn game of all time.
I don't disagree. I watched a friend play half
Henry
of it.
still disagrees because he believes the game he played with his brother is the best Saturn game of all time.
What, like Raw versus...
I forget what I said.
Raw is War?
If you don't work with Henry, you have to know
Gunstar Heroes
he's a
pretty
beautiful
good.
man, and on these list features, when they
Gunstar
don't
Heroes,
go
Guardian
his way,
Heroes.
Henry never lets it go. It is fucking beautiful. How could you say Yoshi's Island isn't the best Super Nintendo game of all time? It's like you didn't even live through it.
Yeah, I took that pretty seriously.
You did.
But in this case, Panzer Dragoon Saga, the demo was disc 1.
I've never heard this.
Of a 4-disc game, 5-disc game?
I've never heard of that either.
I've never heard of this
pretty
until right now.
impressive.
me.
Yeah, I don't... This may have been
What a gift.
UK's official Sega Saturn magazine. That would be why it doesn't sound familiar.
Which, oddly enough, is still being printed. This,
It has an extra OU in Saturn. But
I don't know why I expected one of you to bite. Oh!
Why would we bite?
I know. This is how we plan now.
It's titled Sega Saturn, but it's about the ZX Spectrum.
Official.
Yes.
Official.
Official ZX Spectrum magazine.
Official.
Number 6?
You want to move into number 6, Elston?
Yeah,
Because I'm a little confused as to what this one means.
It says Lost Planet,
It does say Lost Planet.
but it doesn't say where it came from.
I know, and I'm
Does it
assuming
just
he has
mean
to
the
mean somewhere else.
360
Because everything
download,
else
or-
here is pretty special.
Lost Planet, I don't understand.
Were I to spotlight an Xbox game that was a demo that was super awesome, I'd do BioShock. Like, I think the demo for BioShock really sold
If you
a lot
were
of
just
people
going to do
on that
something
game.
you could download.
I kind of get the point he's trying to make is like this is also why I gave the first Lost Planet a 9, and it's why I love the first Lost Planet, and why, as you'll discover later in this podcast, Lost Planet 2 does not have the luxury of this, is that it was a showcase of HD. Like, it was...
Yeah.
It wasn't, it came out January of 07, so by that point the 360 had been out for over a year. PS3 was brand new, but for some reason that gets the credit of being like the first holy shit HD action game. Even though like Dead Rising was before that, but that was a little slower paced. This was like huge explosions, massive enemies. There wasn't really a prior generation thing to compare it to.
You remember, what'd you have at 360's launch?
Well, you had Prey
Kong,
and
you had
King Kong and
Ports,
Gun.
Ports,
Ports,
Perfect Dark
Activision,
Zero.
Up-Res,
Perfect Dark
and-
Zero, yeah.
and
So
a
this
bunch
was
of
like
Cameo.
yeah. So this was, I mean, I get what he means maybe in the sense that the demo was like, this like really floored me.
Yeah, me too.
And playing it, I was like, this is amazing. I can't believe the games are all going to look like this.
Yeah.
And but it didn't, I guess it was just a download, or maybe it did come on a disc. I don't actually know.
That's a damn shame.
That sounds great.
Well, what, would you have said that about Lost Planet had you not disliked the second one?
Said what?
That Lost Planet was just launch goggles or something?
I will totally admit it was a little bit of...
Because I played it a little later, and I still had a great time with it.
I think I don't know what it was about this, what it is about the second one, which we could talk about more about the second one later. I think I've already vented a little bit about it in the prior podcast.
I believe you, but
it is a little bit of... It's not launch goggles, I think it's HD goggles.
HD goggles.
Which they sell at Walgreens. They're really good. I think Tyler has a pair. It just looked and sounded so fucking amazing. And it still is a fun game to play. It's just on top of that, it looked so much better. And
if I can really, this is a really base way to say it, but like the enemies there were so big.
Yeah.
And
How big were they?
Nothing changed. They were so big, Spielberg wouldn't return its calls.
Energy.
Yeah.
We've got it.
They were just, seeing enemies that big and the frame rate not drop.
Yeah.
And everything still be intact. That was something you literally had never seen before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You all play Shadow of the Colossus, and you see something in the distance coming out of like a screen door of fog.
Yeah.
And frame rate slowdowns. And Lost Planet was, wow, what if you could see Shadow of the Colossus in this vision? I should just move on. I'm rambling.
No, I agree.
I'm rambling.
And number 5.
Yeah.
Ready to rumble boxing?
It's hard for me to remember.
I sort of agree with this
I
one.
remember it was really cool for its time.
I remember, yeah.
It's embarrassing how excited I
it was a
for this game.
Dreamcast launch title, and they had it like at Toys R Us. There's one for the wiki.
That's seriously what I was going to ask about.
We had Dreamcast kiosks set up, and this and Hydro Thunder, and I think Sonic Adventure. I watched that fucking opening movie about 2,000 times.
Well, yeah, it was the same deal. My little brother, he bought Dreamcast launch day, and like we played that demo enough times that we eventually convinced ourselves to get Ready to Rumble, even though it wasn't really that.
What was weird
ultimately,
Ready to Rumble and Hydro Thunder shipped with. It's like it came with a sticker as part of the box art that said "New Hot." Like with a starburst in neon pink. New Hot. Ready to Rumble and Hydro Thunder.
It does not beat the one I had showcased on that Rap Games feature, just because it was Operation Wolf and it said new hip rap. Is it rap or a descriptor? He is right, honey. That is pretty rap.
You rapping me? Rap it?
Yeah, I support that Ready to Rumble one. It had a good enough demo that came with a Dreamcast that convinced me and my brother to get it.
I'll give it the credit of like,
but
no
I
one
felt
had
the
seen
same way about Power
cartoonish
Stones.
3D like that, and especially probably didn't expect to see it right out of the gate. In a
What's
sports
weird is
game
I
like
think
that.
the image they have here has to be the N64 version.
You think so?
Yeah.
The character art, obviously, is
you know what?
universal, but it's just
It'll
so...
look like an N64 version if it's the official shot Sega gave to the internet.
It's like that poly count is so low on these guys. I mean, it's possible. Dreamcast is not...
launch game especially is going to look awesome.
It's
possible.
I remember
possible.
PS1 and PS2 games pretty blurry, and I have the weird memory of Sega Dreamcast games being very crisp.
Being very clear, and that was part of it.
That's why is that?
To the point where, like, even NFL 2K, I was like, holy shit, I want to play a football game.
Because, if you're used to looking at, like, PS1 or N64 and that's state of the art, that's, like, what really good games look like, then the Dreamcast comes along, of course it's going to look fucking incredible.
Part of it was a compromise where N64 had all the, like, anti-aliasing and overdrive. It intentionally blurred everything, and the opposite end was the PS1 that didn't anti-alias shit, and everything was jaggy, and the textures would bend and warp, and everything looked like ass butt. So then when you get to Dreamcast, it's like, well, we didn't have to anti-alias the fuck out of everything. It's crisp, like PS1, but it's also not jaggy and sharp and ugly. So it really was like this perfect balance between the two, and then it died a year later. So what are you
going to do?
So that was a great demo.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Number 4?
Somebody should have looked into number 4.
I can't disagree with this more, to be honest.
Really?
What's number 4?
Gran Turismo
HD.
HD.
I thought that was one of the most boring demos I've ever played in my life.
Also,
But you could replace the word demo with game.
Yeah, I also hate Gran Turismo, so take that with a grain of salt.
But it's not even, unlike the other demos on this list, I think. It's not free, right? It's 30 fucking
No,
dollars.
you're thinking of...
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, Gran Turismo HD was free, and it had like 2 or 3 cars.
I remember
one track.
one track.
Yeah, sorry.
It was,
I got that.
I remember, like, I played it at the Tokyo Game Show in 2006, prior to the PS3's launch, and it was like, this is what they're using to show it off. Like, it's just one track. The background was very static and 2D. It was like this photo of a mountain range that just kind of stayed in the same place.
But it looked amazing.
It was a very HD photo. I'll say that, but it was a photo in the background. And I remember complaining to Christian Nutt, who was our senior editor and was with me at the time, and he's like, "Oh, come on, you're exaggerating." And then he came to me later. It's like, "Yeah, I just played it. You were totally right. It's so boring."
Gran Turismo specializes in being sterile.
Yeah.
Just sorry, I got that demo confused with the demo they charged for, like it was a game.
I think that's my main problem with the game is that it's not out yet. The UK had a great link to a great article of like, we'll never believe anything Gran Turismo says about its release date ever.
Right. I can't believe they've waited this long for 5.
They wrote that article because they said it's coming out in October, and then Sony sent them an email like, it's not coming out in October. So.
And I remember it was especially disappointing, HD, because it came out after their E3 demo, which was like the head of Polyphony Digital going up and saying, Gran Turismo HD, it's going to be a stopgap game between 4 and 5 while we work on 5. And then his demo was like a bunch of funny cars going at maybe 20, 30 miles an hour around the periphery of a canyon racetrack, occasionally honking their horns, and this went on for like 5 or 10 minutes.
Quack! Super horn.
Sorry, you said horn. I had that on my board.
No need to apologize. It's just, I'm fucking boring.
Yes.
Well, I don't think anything will sell us on Gran Turismo. I don't think there's any real
No,
Gran Turismo level.
I can understand it as like a
game.
system justifying thing. Like if it came out when the PS3 came out, which it did, it was like an early adopter thing.
Well,
to show off the PS3.
Like to show it off.
I think it got away with, like, man, I'd never seen cars resemble cars in the real world like this before. I don't think that means anything anymore, because you can get anything on the PS3 to resemble something in the real world if it doesn't interact with its environment in a way that's meaningful or compelling.
Yeah, the cars can't get damaged. And
we got to delay it because there's new cars coming out. They're going to be painstakingly realistic and never do anything.
But never take
never
damage.
do anything.
Forza takes damage, so I think that completely, like, Forza wins.
Well, they said 5 will have damage, but
since I'm already on the wiki for Toys R Us this week, I'll just keep going with another one. Gran Turismo 3 sold like fucking crazy. I couldn't keep it in stock, and then when they started bundling it with the PS2, we sold out of PS2s regularly.
So I got mine.
And then Gran Turismo 4, I think it was gone at the time, but talking to my friends there, like, it was, of course, the game just flew, and it's amazing that they've sat on it this long. Like, I think this is still a remnant of, it's like Sony's kind of got it together now, but a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago especially, you're still kind of like, what the fuck are they doing? And this is still like a relic of that weird period where Sony just launched a system and had nothing to do with it. Like, MotorStorm is a great game.
You saw what happened.
That's $60.
Final Fantasy 13, which I think, according to these dates, would date it announced, unveiled at the same time as Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah.
And people kind of got it. Their complaint was, why did this take so long? Why did I read previews on this for 4 years?
Yeah. Well, at least you'd figure a car racing game would be quicker to make than Final Fantasy.
They got to take 30,000 pictures of this racetrack so they can turn it into a virtual tour.
And that's what sort of bugged me about it when I played Forza, is that it just, Gran Turismo has always prided itself in being a game that you can play any car you want. And there's no other game that does that, and that's sort of cool to a point.
I really want to play it in a race in a shitty Corolla.
To a point.
I want to make sure the steering wheel shakes in my hand when I go 45. And
yeah.
How did we talk the most about the game?
Maybe we should move on.
Number 3, God of War 3 demo.
That was pretty cool, yeah.
Was pretty cool.
It actually is what made me realize I still don't like God of War. Like I played the demo and the whole time I'm like, oh yeah,
But I don't.
man, Square.
Rip the guy's head off. Who gives a shit? Oh my god.
It's just so
Stabbing
over it.
birds in the dick as I soar over this lava pit. Been there, done that.
It's just I think it's just hopeless for me at this point. Like every time he does something that's just especially gruesome, I'm like, of course.
You're changed.
Change. It's the same fucking game.
All right.
Like I just get a Job typical.
Well, that's
every time I see Kratos do anything typical.
That's what in this case isn't the God of War 3 demo slightly different from the final game? Michael, I need you to look up.
It was, yes.
Okay. How so?
Well,
I wish I had a joke, but I don't.
what
was
exactly
stupider.
was different? You had to fight a bunch of monsters outside the gates. The caves past the gates were a little bit longer, and the layout was slightly different. The monsters were different.
Was the demo better?
No, the demo was not better.
See?
But the demo actually, I didn't think the demo, as long as I'm being contrarian here, I didn't think the demo was as good as the, it was pretty incredible before the game came out, but in retrospect, like, the demo for God of War 2 was a bit better. It was more reflective of the final game. The demo for God of War 1 was really good. Just God of War demos in general. I mean, if you're going to point to one of them, I guess, 3's the most recent. It's the most visually impressive, but...
Oh, I do remember the God of War 1 demo.
Like, I'm kind of disappointed they didn't the demo wasn't just like the first couple demos were, which is like, we'll give you the first level.
Yeah.
There you go. Go play it.
Well, I think, didn't you also say about I remember when the God of War 3 demo was coming out, that you were complaining that it was the exact same thing you had played at E3.
Yeah, well,
like
that's the thing.
earlier.
I had seen it in February of
2009?
I want to say 2009, yeah.
We pronounce February.
February, and they just showed it. They brought us all down to Sony in Santa Monica and showed us like on a big screen. It's like, oh, that's so cool. Oh man, it's like it came around at E3 and it's like, oh, this is the same thing I saw in February, but it's so cool because I get to play it. And then like they released the demo and it's like, wow, this is the same thing I played a year ago, and this is all they've shown of the game.
Yeah, I remember that.
You should have gone to Comic-Con because it was the exact same thing.
Yeah, because like even I had seen like the thing they showed at some point, and then when I downloaded the demo this year, I was like, well, God of War comes out next week. I'll download the demo, and I've seen this a year ago. Like,
yeah, well, that was my main complaint, that they showed almost nothing of the game that wasn't in that demo for the longest time, and like until
that's true.
December or January.
There wasn't even a
09,
screenshot
09,
from stuff that wasn't in the demo.
Right. And so it's like, I think they showed the first level for the first time in either December or January.
Dicks.
And that was like the first indication that there was something to the game besides what was in that demo.
Motherfuckers.
But it came with District 9, and that's
true.
a very good demo.
As a notable case, it came with District 9. It wasn't available to download unless you pre-ordered the game or bought the God of War collection. Unless you were European and then had to gerrymander your PS3 for a UK account. Can I say that?
I think it's jerry-rig.
Jerry-rig? All right.
Gerrymander is about stopping blacks from
All right. You have to filibuster your PS3 in order to get it to get the European download. Number 2, my filibuster joke fails.
dude, filibustering is
Yes.
hilarious.
I got it.
Christmas nights.
So, do demos count if they come out more than 6 months after the game comes out? Does that count as a demo?
You don't know what date did it come out in the UK.
Fine. You're right.
What date?
I'm certain this came out well after any
And for
version of
as
it.
as a pretty intense Knights fan,
I like Knights too.
this Christmas Nights thing is incredible.
I
Everybody
love
got it
Christmas
but
Nights.
the US. Everybody.
I bought that magazine to get it. I got it.
Which magazine?
I think it was Ultra Game Fan. Or
Yeah,
something.
Chris,
or Ultra Game Players.
You guys got Christmas nights.
We did.
I have it.
Yeah.
I never got Christmas Nights.
I remember.
I inherited it from Dan Dead Amrick.
Everybody else got it in a nice little case.
Yeah,
With a
I got
cover
it.
and a
Mine's in a
sleeve.
case.
Bought mine at the Japanese game store for like $3.
Yeah, the Japanese have it. Are you sure?
I love
I have it, Dan. I bought it
You
from
want me
Dan.
to sing the Boys to Men style ending
No.
theme?
Let me get
I
to
know.
that.
BD.
But this is also available through the Sega Saturn magazine. But I didn't know this in the article. Tal mentions that it was offered up for people who bought select Saturn games as well.
Really?
It was sort of like an incentive to buy, like that's not necessarily a demo, but like
I guess in that way it's more like a demo.
Yeah, it's more like a demo. Like I think he mentioned like a motorcycle game. You'd get Christmas Nights, and Christmas Nights is really weird and cool. And
no, I really like Christmas Nights.
Sonic is in it for no reason.
Yes. It's very strange. I like hearing the jingle bells as you're fighting the boss who's reskinned as Santa Claus.
And
I love all that.
And it has.
I also just love Christmas.
It also has a karaoke version of the music in the game.
Is this the Kid Fuckers Hoagie?
It is.
Oh,
it is. You can sing along on your Sega Saturn. Just hold up that dinner plate controller to your face.
Like a dream.
No, wait, I should probably fast forward.
Far away.
Wow, this is taking me back to TalkRadar 20.
I can see your face.
Wow.
You're that special one that I've been waiting for. And I hope you're looking for someone like me in my dreams.
Oh my God.
God, this is good.
So sweet in your eyes, I feel there's so much.
Hit it, Hank. Hit it, Hank.
In the night, dream delight. I want to see you standing there.
It's like a Perfect Strangers special.
In the night.
No, it's still going.
Okay.
I found someone who really
It
cares.
was excruciating.
You know what? Fine. We can move
lovely.
in. We can move into
Really
them.
quickly, this is TalkRadar 101, which makes it an entry-level class.
I know. I was trying to find the joke there.
What is the 400? Was it 401? Did they go 404? What did they do?
You know what? You hang tight, and we will tell you how to fulfill all your credit hours at TalkRadar University. Because we didn't have a question of the week last week. Fuck it. Number one.
Number one.
Number one is Metal Gear Solid 2.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That was the greatest demo, I think.
The sheer amount of dusty and thrown out copies of Zone of Enders that I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Did anyone even buy the sequel?
No.
Jesus Christ.
That's Toys R Us. I can tell you, no one bought. The problem is this is the exact time period that I work, so I've got an anecdote for every game.
No, I wanted your anecdotes
except Panzer Dragoon Saga, because that was way old. But yeah, Zone of the Enders 2, it was like 97 or whatever.
Well, Zone of the Enders 2, I also remember as a game that game critics creamed their jeans over for whatever reason, and I played it. It's like, this is fucking awful.
Was that Kojima?
Yes.
It's like pre-MGS Kojima?
No, it's Zone of the Enders. Zone
One,
of the Enders
right.
was the game that MGS2 came with.
Well,
as a demo.
1 or 2. Oh, right.
One.
Zone of the Enders 1.
The one that led everybody to believe that Snake starred in the entire game.
Because of that,
yes,
it
yes.
sold so well
Yeah.
that there was a sequel, which, as far as I'm concerned, bombed.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen one since then.
Oh, right up there with the Omega Boost fans.
Kids, this is back when Konami used to make games.
And not DDR.
Not DDR and Twilight
and
Scene.
expensive Rocket Knights.
They had more than Castlevania. I mean, it was a wild time.
Man, Silent Hill
escaping.
was not shitty, and there was only one of them.
Playing through that demo over and over again, like, this
Yeah.
time I'm going to get all the dog tags. This time I'm just going to knock everybody out. This time I'm going to shoot
guess-
all the bottles in the bar.
This time I'm going to quit halfway through, jerk off, and then come back and finish.
Well, that was every time.
This time I'm going to choke a bunch of guys out and pile their bodies under the staircase.
All right.
Hey, look, this time I'm looking at porno and it looks like he's jerking off. Oh, that was a thing.
That was the thing.
That was an Easter egg.
I actually, despite loving the first Metal Gear Solid, and I beat it, I think I rented it from Blockbuster for a week and beat it twice in that amount of time. Like, went through it twice and took it back. And when I got a PS2 on launch day, I was like, I'm buying this because I have to have Final Fantasy X and Metal Gear Solid 2 because I loved Solid so much. And then I didn't play the demo for whatever reason because I was like, I don't even care about Zone.
Because it had Zone of Enders in it.
Yeah, I don't want. I don't want to touch Zone of Enders because the game looks stupid. Maybe it's not. I can't. Can any of us say
The first one was okay.
it was okay?
I didn't
There you
like
go.
the second
The legacy lives on. And Metal Gear Solid 2, when it came out, I was like, But Snake's not the main character, and I literally just to this day have not played it. I've only played 1 and Twin Snakes.
I mean, that was the big magic trick, is because everybody had this demo, and it was one of those demos you could play over and over again. And
yeah,
like,
that's
it was a huge blow.
You spend so much time with Snake, you just assume he's got to be in the whole game.
I don't even remember reading previews at the time. Did they mention Raiden?
No, Raiden was a complete surprise.
Yeah, he was kept completely quiet until they released the game.
I think some reviews didn't even say he was in it. Like they were told not to say it in the reviews.
I mean, I admire them for doing it. Absolutely, that's a great idea. It's just you bait and switched me with $50 on the line. I don't care for that.
Though I had heard in Japan after the genie was out of the bottle and people knew that Raiden was in the game, like they did start advertising it with Raiden in it to the Japanese.
Hey, you'll recall we saw that promotion for the Metal Gear on the 360, and that's use faces on that.
Raiden.
Well, that's after he's been pulled out of the scrappy heap to take a TV trope.
Yeah, after they've made fun of him as like the non-verbal gay partner of the villain of the third game.
Yeah.
Okay. That's number 1.
Anything missing from this list?
No, we might find out later. Maybe.
I don't know. Michael's shaking his head.
That was the top 7. Hey, we have plans. Question of the week. If you liked one of these games on this list, you're going to love Game Deals.
Oh, hey.
It's somewhere between 4 and 2. You can remember that.
Including those numbers or just in between?
It's actually an incredible price, but it's a good Game Deals this week, God damn it. I wish we were paid actual money and not in forum PMs. And in the break, you're going to hear an interview that I did with a couple of lead designers on Pirates of the Caribbean, which
pronounced
is on
Caribbean.
Caribbean. Is it pronounced Caribbean?
No, the movies are Caribbean.
Carabiner.
Is there a colon or a semicolon? Or
a colon, Armada of the Damned.
Oh.
Armada of the Damned. Use naughty words in a Disney game. It's Pirates of the Caribbean, Posse of the Fucked.
Armada of the shit. Wow.
I can't send this to them now.
I'm silent. Sorry, I laughed silently because I would have exploded liquid everywhere. We'll talk about new releases like Lost Planet, 3D Dot,
new releases, a little bit of news. You're going to hear a cartoon character say cock, which is an TalkRadar exclusive. I don't believe I have.
What are you?
I don't have an exclusive sound
come
anymore.
on. Okay, second. Let's do this. That's fanfare.
Exclusive. TalkRadar exclusive.
The cock cartoon.
The cock cartoon. Such a lie. Jesus Christ.
Did you know Zone of the Enders abbreviates as Zoe? Yep. And Left 4 Dead has a character named Zoe in it.
Clips aplenty. Jesus Christ.
Coincidence?
So I'm just saying, Valve ripped it off. Because Zoe's clearly a pointy-footed robot. Yeah.
Let's hope my will to live holds out to the next break.
Hey, this is Mike Nelson from rifftracks.com, and you're listening to TalkRadar.
Forgot one very important thing, mate. Captain Jack Sparrow.
Okay, hey, we're at Propaganda Studios in Vancouver, Canada. We're in Canada, right?
I think so.
I'm tired. I'm very tired.
So.
And who are we talking with right now?
I'm Alex Peters. I'm the game director on Pirates of the Caribbean, Armada of the Damned.
That's a fake accent. I'm Devin Blanchette, the design director for Pirates, Armada of the Damned.
Oh, we just got done with like a whirlwind tour of the game, and I'm looking at a map right now that I can't show you guys, but the game is huge at the moment.
Absolutely. What we're trying to do is create a huge open world that actually recreates a lot of the Caribbean and a lot of what you've seen in the movies, but also we're expanding it to enable us to create a great action RPG.
Yeah, I mean that's like just to add to that, like what we're trying to do with this game is take the property as you know it and basically blow it out. Take it into new directions as far as characters and locations and story, and really introduce people to something they haven't seen before, but still has that flavor of Pirates of the Caribbean that they kind of expect.
That's what I loved about what you guys said. You were well aware of the pitfalls of the normal movie license game, but one has to acknowledge this is a great setting for a game, like the Pirates of the Caribbean universe, but there will be a little bit of characters here and there from...
Yeah, what's important to us is really creating an authentic environment and an authentic experience. But part of that, though, is that whole action RPG genre allows us to do that. And the Pirates of the Caribbean universe has so much rich backstory, so much lore, and it's tied into real-world events as well. So we're playing a lot of that up. But as you mentioned earlier, it's really key for us to create a brand new story. We're setting ourselves before the movies, so although we're making sure this feels like a Pirates of the Caribbean game, you'll see some of the locations, you'll see some of the characters, but it's important that the story we're telling is brand new.
Yeah, it's not associated to a movie. Only the property, really.
But what really made it feel like the movies is we should probably talk about that eventually. The legendary and dreaded positions, but when we were watching some of the concepts for legendary, there was a sense of humor to the action hero that's very Jack Sparrow-esque, or like sort of exclusive to the Pirates franchise. The competent swashbuckling buffoon, but with, I don't know, there's not a lot of humor. Isn't done very well or very often in an action game. So I was pretty heartened to see that.
No, absolutely. Humor is one of the most difficult things to pull off, definitely. But likewise, the universe has a whole supernatural element to it, and that's something we're playing up. And as you mentioned, Legendary Dreaded is the key choice in the game, is which way the player goes. You can play this either as a Legendary Pyro or the Dreaded Pyro, and Devon will explain the differences.
Oh, wow, will I?
Pressure, no pressure.
What that really means is he forgot what he was going to say. He was like... Oh damn! Yeah, so legendary. Yeah, so anyways, I mean that's the central choice to the game itself. I mean, whether you're going to be legendary or dreaded, it's a hard choice that you make through the course of the story. And just to get into that a little bit, just to digress just a little bit, that's important to us because then we can make really powerful, exciting game experiences. You know, it's not something where you're stuck in the middle and you kind of did one or the other and then you kind of come out at the end of the game a bit flat. This is like the full roller coaster ride when we do it this way. And the way we do it is to make sure that it's in everything. You know, that choice percolates down to all the areas of the game, whether it's quests, whether it's characters, whether it's how you look, how you act, how you talk, what words you say, and then in combat, what your abilities are, and then what your style is. So you mentioned the legendary part of it. We throw a bit of that humor and that bit of bravado in there, and almost build him into sort of like a celebrity, so that like his moves kind of personify that.
I like one of the animations was he threw his sword out and he ended the thrust with his hand on his side in like a classic hero pose.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple other ones where he's catching his sword and stabbing and twirling, and but at the same time still has that athletic ability where he's not afraid to punch guys in the face. And then on the flip side you've got Dreaded.
Wow.
Which is significantly different, a little bit darker. We still, you'll see it more in the game with the cinematics, as far as like still having a bit of playfulness to them. But obviously in combat, we want that impact, that feeling of power when he walks into a room, or when he's in combat, smashing guys with his anchor, picking them up, throwing them around like they're rag dolls, and then tying it into the supernatural. So we get elements that we can really play with when it comes to water, when it comes to other supernatural creatures that you'll see later as we sort of release that info, that push the property again to its boundaries and then beyond its boundaries.
Are we talking about a baby kraken?
I believe the marketing guy is looking at me right now and he's saying...
But the Dreaded... I love seeing the Dreaded character. One of his combos was... He was nasty. He had an anchor, and he threw it out and hooked the guy in the face and pulled him in, which led me to this question that Pirates of the Caribbean the movie, it has like the highest body count of a PG-13 movie like ever, other than maybe Lord of the Rings, but those were orcs.
That doesn't matter.
Have you ever encountered, or you think you're going to encounter a double standard when it comes to rating the game? Because
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's funny because ratings, body count never really goes into that equation. It's like
never?
blood or violence or or if you say bad words.
Words. Well, I saw another character say punch and not rum. Does that have any? Does that factor in?
No, we use rum a lot.
No, there's beer in the game. And
you can pick up gin.
There's booze. There's grog and
thank
mead and rum. There's rum runners. There's boundaries, but having myself worked on mature games in the past, it really has to fit. It has to fit the property. Mm-hmm. I don't. This one doesn't. It doesn't need that, and I don't think it'll get rated in that way.
No, so I was just wondering about this. The stabbing. Usually, people in T-rated games blow up or disappear, but there was some.
But it's in character. We don't play up the gore or anything. It's what you'd expect from a pirates movie.
It's lighthearted stabbing.
Absolutely.
It was. What did I see? The legendary version of Captain Serling do? He stabbed the dude in the foot, uppercutted him, and caught his sword as it flew out of his foot. I don't know. Very, very cute details. I should also say that I'm a sort of a Disney nerd.
Oh wow! This I didn't know before this interview.
It's been accidental. You work with headshots all day. Apparently, when you go home, you just need a little Donald or something. But I saw we have the what do we call him? The dog with the keys.
Yeah.
He was in one of the shots we saw, and I just saw Toy Story 3, and they were given the liberty to add in characters from every one of Pixar's movies. So I was wondering if we'll see anybody. Are you allowed to cross-pollinate the Pirates of the Caribbean world with?
Obviously, being part of Disney allows us a lot of access to a lot of properties. But for us, it's making sure that we pick the right ones and the right ones fit. And if they fit within the universe, within the story, and how we want to play the game out, then yes, we look into it.
You got a hidden Mickey in there somewhere?
We pushed hard for Goofy, and they're like, no.
Goofy with a pirate hat.
Yeah. Alex was even willing to do the accent for it. And they're still
But before we go, we should talk that also we saw the sea missions, and those were pretty exciting because the game resembles a lot of other mediocre pirate games, but this one is definitely more streamlined. And the sea mission, I love being able to go swoop down from top perspective to the perspective of steering the ship at the helm over the shoulder as the waves, which physically affect your boat. And yeah, that was very exciting. You guys have something you like about the...
Oh, absolutely. We really set out to create a really action-y, in-your-face kind of experience that feels intense. It feels like you're picking off the different enemies, you're reading the situations, and then you can use all these. You can whether you go after their crew, whether you decide to sink the ship, or whether you actually go and board it and fight the captain and stuff. Or then on top of all that, we've got trade routes. We've got. As you said, the ocean isn't just a flat ocean. We have some really stormy environments which totally change the experience. And then, again, as you go through the game, you pick up your crew, you manage them, you go and get some of these special guys that you do additional quests for. All this leading to sort of upgrading your ship. So you really care about your ship as you go through the game. But then on top of all that as well, we've got all these abilities, one of which you saw today. And there's a lot of other things like that we're really playing off. Because that whole supernatural element just gives us so much scope to do so many different things. And really over-the-top things as well, which is great.
Yeah, I think over-the-top is something like we want to be consistent on land and on sea, and we definitely take a lot of liberties. We, as we sort of talked about earlier, we started off in sort of this this idea that we simulate a lot of stuff, especially once we got the sea going and once we could like simulate rough and calm water. Wouldn't it be cool if like wind affected your boat, and then you're like, wait a sec, when I sail into wind, that sucks, and this game takes forever. So let's just get rid of wind and let's just shoot guys more and blow them up, and that's cooler. And sure enough, it is. So I mean, there's a focus on having different damage types and having them do different things. Like if I'm using hull shot, it's going to sink my boat. It's going to blow holes through it. If I'm using sail, it's going to knock the mast down. If I use crew, then it's going to blow crew off the guys. You're going to see them fly off.
Which looks really nasty with that added zoomable perspective.
Yeah, exactly. And then tie it all in with a presentation that not only with the close-up one that you're describing, but also when Alex was talking about the abilities and whatnot, giving it a bit of presentation. I think the next time you see it, you'll see more of those elements as we start to polish it now, and really give it that sort of action feel to it.
Do you think we're going to see more around E3?
Absolutely. We're going to be E3. We're going to be playing the build. People are going to be able to get hands-on. It's going to be a great experience.
All right, well, what's the release date we're looking at? You say
early next year.
Early next year?
Yeah, so 2011.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Great,
Thanks, cheers.
It is my intention to commandeer one of these ships, pick up a crew and Tortuga, raid, pillage, plunder, and otherwise pilfer my Weasley black guts out.
TalkRadar, bitches.
All of a sudden, I could feel 100% evil come over me.
Whoopee! I'm going to GamesRadar.com, the official website of the internet.
Can you dig it?
Oh my goodness. Hold on. More enthusiasm. Oh
my goodness. I so feel like doing more of these.
Oh, Explosion Men. It's time for TalkRadar segment 2.
You're making our fans sad with all this this lack of enthusiasm.
Oh man, I'm sorry. It's not up to me. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. It's okay.
Who's that up to?
Well, I mean, whoever's marginalizing the podcast.
Okay.
Let's move on. This is funny.
It's becoming funny because it's so not funny that I'm amused. I don't think it'll translate over a radio.
We'll move into some new releases.
We need a new releases sound effect.
We do need a new releases sound effect.
So we know that we're listening to a podcast.
New releases.
Alright. I accept.
These are the things that are coming out!
Or since it's Friday, have been out since Tuesday.
Yeah, that's the case. But until... Shut up.
I actually wasn't talking. You see how this is accurate.
Scott 3.
Oh, Skate 3.
Skate 3.
I've heard it's good.
I know, I've heard it's good too.
Apparently its opening movie is really cool.
I hear it's
like the review sheet that I got a copy of it today for some reason, even though I've never seen or written anything about any skate game in my life. They sent me a copy of it today. It came with a sheet that said.
It's nice that they do that for people who do write things about it.
It said, "Do not talk about the opening movie." Okay,
really?
I won't. Next. I didn't even watch it.
Do you know what it's scoring on?
It's got an
Metacritic?
83 average. One Up gave it a schwa. Which Metacritic interpreted as a 100.
Wow.
Destructoid is an 8.5. AGN, I believe it's IGN, is an 8. GameSpot's a 7.5. I bet without reading any of the reviews, they all say this is like the others but slightly refined.
That's what I worry about.
I heard they made it a little easier than the last two.
Yeah, they did. They definitely did, but it's still only having... I played all of them, but they're all sort of indistinguishable.
Keep in mind that Tony Hawk was awesome for 3 games.
It was, but it was also distinguishable. I can tell you the difference between Tony Hawk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can.
I can tell you the difference. I can tell you when I stopped caring.
I know, but I did care, and I don't know. I'm sort of worried about that because I only saw that it got a couple 7s, and it didn't look like it had changed much. But that might have been the reason for the 7.
It's been basically annual too, which I don't.
Yeah. Which the whole reason it had
we were told over and over again when it came out that it wouldn't be annual.
The whole reason it had that momentum in the first place was, wow, a new skate game that's going to off Tony Hawk, and they're going to have to innovate.
Congratulations!
This was before Ride.
It's like congratulations, they did it themselves, and now you're doing what they were doing. You're making an annual skateboarding game.
Well, as long as we're in a good mood. Another Naruto game came out.
Ultimate Heroes 3.
Yes, this time I really do love the word ultimate with a number attached to it.
I think this is maybe the 20th game Namco's put out that says ultimate something.
It is.
Because it's also the
Ninja
PlayStation and PlayStation 2.
Yes.
And PlayStation 3.
They're all ports from things that already
Naruto
exist.
Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Heroes 3.
It takes place after the time skip.
The time skip. Who cares?
Well, here's something you'll hear about, Elston. Rocket Knight.
Rocket Knight's
Rocket Knight is out.
It's out this week, apparently, for 360 and Steam. Not for PSN, which comes out next week. According to the press release that they sent me with incorrect pricing information.
What's that?
They told me their press release says it's $20 on Steam.
What?
Which I tweeted about, and
it's $14.99.
Yeah, it's $14.99 on Steam, and it's 1,200 Microsoft points, which is a fucking Sunday.
That's $15, right?
It's $15.
Yeah, 1,200.
I was just saying, like, Rocket Knight. This is I hesitate to even say classic franchise, but it was a cool game for Genesis, and then it had a great sequel on Super Nintendo, and then there was also Sparkster. Yeah. And there was a Sparkster for Genesis, but I'm not going to talk about it because no one will care but me. Those were two really good games, and this character just disappeared. If you go back through all these Konami track and field games and shit, you'll see Sparkster in it because they thought, oh, you got a great mascot character.
Yeah.
So this is a new one in the style like of Bionic Commando Rearmed, and not quite like Mega Man 9 because that was actually an old game made new. But it's that thing. It's a 2D game. It's fun. Like we played it a little bit at the events, and we've got a code of it on PS3.
I like it. On one hand, it seems a pathetic grasp for your former glory.
Yes.
On the other, it means gaming is so widespread and mainstream that even a $15 game appealing to the bare minimum of memories still has a place on Xbox Live, and I think that's cool.
Oh.
Why is the phone ringing?
Why are the lasers talking to us? Why is the UK calling us?
Why is the phone ringing?
Ooh, what the?
That's the ceiling ringing.
Oh.
And could you get that?
Could you get the ceiling ringing?
I'm reaching for the ceiling. I can't reach it.
Holy shit.
I think it's a teleconference.
I'm really scared. I think the podcast is being canceled.
Yeah. If we don't answer the phone. All right, we're safe.
Okay.
So my problem with Rocket Knight, my problem with Rocket Knight is that it's $15, and it's like Bionic Commando Rearmed was 10.
Yeah.
And that was a fantastic game, and this is not quite as spectacular of a revision of as BCR was. So it's more money for a franchise that has even less fond memories attached to it.
Well, in general, to me, this is what bothers me. Like, of all downloadable games, like on Xbox Live Arcade and whatever, like, $10 is now the cheap price for a game on Live. Like, it used to be $5 was the cheap price, but
I think
you'll be damned if you'll find a $5 game.
But $10 isn't a huge deal, and I don't care who you are at this point.
Yes, it's not a huge deal.
What's weird is there's still
to buy paper towels.
As of right now, there's still no reviews on Metacritic for it at all. I know we have a review that was going to post. It was 3 out of 5 stars, which we have to convert, which we would normally convert that to a 6. So, I mean, what I played, it felt like a 7. I didn't finish the game, but what I was playing, if I was going to lead towards a score, that would be where I would go. Michael, you played some of it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Attaboy.
What did you think?
What were we talking about?
Talking about Rocket Knight.
Oh, right, Rocket Knight.
Of course we were. He's too bored to talk about the game he played.
I was just distracted for a second and
all
completely lost focus of what we were talking about.
Is everything okay in the Something Awful forums?
I'm not looking at Something Awful, I'm looking at Medium Bin.
Okay.
But anyway.
Terrible website, by the way.
I know.
You played Rocket Knight and for a while. What did you
think? I did.
As our leading Rocket Knight fan.
It was all right. My memory of it was colored by the fact that the demo, or like after I'd played one level, I'd seen a boss fight that somebody else had played, and it's like, can I play that? And he kind of hesitated, and it's like, well, there's this guy from GameSpot, and he's kind of more important than you, and I kind of want to let him play. Well, no, he didn't say that, but he's like, well, do you mind if he plays first, and then you can come back later? And the guy was like, oh, no, go ahead. Wow. But it's like, that's not a new thing.
Yeah, I've heard
the best part is I interviewed that guy in one of our prior podcasts.
No.
We played the audio in there.
I've heard that statement at several demos before of an IGN or GameSpot.
No, that's something spiteful and personal. It has no bearing on the game. The game itself was pretty good. Is able to grasp it instantly. It was fun.
Well, speaking also about how it's not a PlayStation Network now. Did you know that PlayStation has changed their launch day for DLC to Tuesdays instead of Thursdays now?
Good deal.
All their stuff now, they're not a day behind
Really?
Xbox; they're a day before it. Except not in the case of like games like Rocket Knight that said they were doing Xbox Live first.
What else came out this week?
Lost Planet 2.
Lost Planet 2.
That is interesting. Because it could either bring games out early on PS3 or a week late.
Yeah. They'll only be 6 days late.
I'm almost done doing this. I totally could have counted that.
Say what?
Nothing.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Lost Planet 2.
Lost Planet 2.
Which I repeatedly typo as Plost Planet. Like, to this day, I fucking can't write Lost Planet. It becomes Plost. Lost Planet 2. It's averaging a 73. Dave Houghton reviewed it for us and gave it a 7.
It's not doing great.
IGN gave it a 6. GameSpot's 5.5. Scott from P-Tom reviewed it for
Remember, he was talking about how, like, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
He was worried that, like, maybe I'm missing something here. Apparently, he wasn't.
It's funny, like, I really think this is, like I said earlier, the HD goggles, because everyone's reviews are lower than the first game. I think it loses a lot because there is, like, next to no single-player game. It really wants you to play 4-player co-op. And the story...
Which is all I've done.
Yeah, the story in the first one didn't matter in the first place.
Wow.
But I like...
Wow, was it stupid.
It was really dumb, and it was so Japanese, and like, this story's dumb, but what I love are the giant bugs and the robots and the explosions and this like harsh environment and the snow blowing everywhere. It was really cool. And this one...
Pyroclastic frisbees.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then this one, it's like, well, the big enemies are really cool, but the game doesn't look better. I don't feel like the days I've played it on demo, and I saw it in Japan like over a year ago, and the demos that are out now, it's like, yeah, those monsters are big. I'm not as wowed as I was the first time I saw enemies this large, and a lot of those weird things I didn't like about the first, like all the stumbling, and sometimes it's a little robotic animations that have to follow through before you can actually do anything.
Like the stumbling animation.
Yeah. And they're still there, and in the multiplayer, they had us go to Capcom for like a whole afternoon. And we just played, me and Scott played multiplayer for several hours. And I left like, that's felt the same. Like, I played a lot of Lost Planet multiplayer. We played it in the office a lot, too. We even, like, we had a lot of game days. We used to play games in the office. And Lost Planet was like kind of...
remember.
Lost Planet was kind of a regular for a while. And I played it online just because I really enjoyed it. I love the varied, getting in a vital suit, using these disc grenades, using gummy grenades, getting in the suits, fighting the giant bugs, and then when colonies came out, you could play as the bugs. Like, there was just a lot of really cool shit you could do, and 2 just feels like that again.
So, would it be wrong to say that 2 is trying to be like Monster Hunter?
I really feel like that's what they're trying to do, in a subconscious kind of way, is to get people to go, 4 people together, just fighting giant monsters. They had to team up to fight.
I get it now.
And they're like...
Japanese.
Yeah, and they're like... I really feel like... I feel like that was intentional. Like, they wanted you to fight these people with friends, so that when Monster Hunter comes out on 360, and PS3, I guess, as well.
Well,
next year,
everything. It's making its U.S. assault right now.
Yeah, well, the Wii one, but it's been out in the U.S. since 06, or 04 even, I think.
No.
On PS2.
They're good with the U.S.
PS2,
time.
PSP, yeah.
But yeah, they're making their big push. They really want this thing to be big. Like, San Francisco's bathed in ads for Monster
This is huge in Japan. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you buying this?
Because we don't all live next door to each other. Yeah. We have a huge country.
Yeah, my phone doesn't work in Brett's house, so like it's sort of hard for us to link up ad hoc.
But yeah, the Powell Street station is like buried in.
Yeah,
like, it has a gigantic.
It was
ad
insane.
for
It's really
so
cool. Like, it's
yeah,
cool, but it's like, I don't care about this game. I'm sorry.
This is pretty cool. I won't buy this, and I'm the person you're advertising to.
Yeah, I'm a gamer, age 18 to 34, and I don't give a fuck.
It almost made me think that because it's the same BART stop where everybody who works at like One Up,
all on that same street.
GameSpot and GamePro, they all work on that street, and they all get off of that stop.
And IGN now too. IGN works on
and
that same street.
Iggen does too.
But
we're all alone.
Like something about, and it's weird because I gave the first Lost Planet a 9, which I would stand by because at the time I feel that score is appropriate. I completely do. I can understand though why some people went 8. I can totally get it. Those things didn't bother me. I was so overwhelmed with. I beat that game twice and I wrote a guide. Like, I did not idly like it and casually give it. Like, I genuinely liked it a lot, and would play it again now. I think it's fun. But 2, just all the time I didn't review it, but the time I spent with it, which is a sizable chunk, I was just kind of like, I feel like I've done this already, and it wasn't enough of an improvement of the wow factor over the first one. And a lot of it felt the same, and the things that were different were not. I didn't quite buy into it. I don't know.
So we can move on.
And all the scores you'll see, like all the scores are lower. I think it's because everyone is going through that same thing where they're like, oh yeah, this isn't as good as we thought it was 3 years ago, was it?
Well, the game doesn't reflect that 3 years have passed, and like Gears of War came out in the time. Two Gears of War games.
Well, no, Gears 1 actually came out before the first Lost Planet.
Did it?
Came out in 06.
Oh,
Yeah, it did.
Feels like it was more recent than that. But yeah,
Gears 2 was 08, so that's been...
No, you're right, yeah. You are right.
Oh, I know I'm right.
Okay.
But, yeah, I just don't know what else to say about Lost Planet 2.
I remember when you went to see Lost Planet 2 for the first time, you were about to board a plane for Japan, and then you thought you were going to get the big reveal, and then the trailer went up that day, and you're like, why am I going to Japan?
Yeah, they was like, oh, we're going to, you and OXM are going to go see Lost Planet 2 in Japan, and you're going to get to premiere it and reveal this stuff. And then, literally, like, right before I get on the plane.
Before
I'm like, oh, I got my backpack on.
I didn't even know what you were seeing.
And then Capcom releases its own trailer for its own game, reveals all the details, and I'm like, so I'm literally going to fly in a 10-hour flight, ask them questions that aren't answered in this trailer, and they won't answer a single one. I can tell you that right now, because they gave away everything they wanted to say in this trailer. And now I'm going to literally go, which I loved going.
You had a great time in Japan.
No, I loved it. I loved going, and it was still cool to see the game, because that's where I actually got to see the room where they were making the game. And it was really cool watching all these animators and all these programmers and all these people like dutifully staring at this monitor, like just looking at the giant robot suit and like animating a knee. No, not right. Do it again. Animating a knee. No, not right. Do it again. Animating a knee. No, still got to do it again. Animating like fucking 4,000 times while they're explaining something. I'm watching a guy trying to fix a bullet or a knee, like that kind of small detail. So it's like, wow, there's a lot of fucking work goes into this, and then it's just. It's certainly not a terrible game at all. It's just I think people buying $60, unless you're going to play through it with 4 people, it's probably not worth that much money. Yeah.
I hope it doesn't sway my opinion on Pirates of the Caribbean, because that was the first time I went into the room with the programmers.
Oh, right.
Like, man, we work in a small office. They work in like a room with little computers about an elbow to elbow. Reprogramming. Well, looks like the sail has a skid mark on it. It's going to be another 9 months of no.
You need to recompile.
Talk about that.
Recompile that code and fix that sail.
What else came out?
Finally, what came out this week was you up for it, Hank? You want an introduction? Here, I didn't use it. There you go.
3D Game Heroes.
It is 3D Game Heroes.
Right here.
Nice enthusiasm, Henry.
I forgot that came out. I really got to go buy it.
It was 3 weeks ago. My review posted where I gave it a very fair 8. But I'd say if you are listening to this podcast and get all the talk about 90s and 80s bullshit that we always say, I'd say you should give it a 10 and buy it right now. That totally. That game is so good,
so likable, and just fucking adorable.
I love the unabashed. Direct Zelda 1, and it's a mix of Zelda 1 and Link to the Past. I feel.
Yeah.
Like the shit I was because I started playing it for the review, and then about 2 hours in, I was like, Henry, you do it.
Yeah, you ran out of time.
I
I
had to write a meeting or something.
Though the dungeons are they're much simpler. In the overworld is bigger, like the size of Link to the Past, but the dungeons are a lot simpler. They're not like the 2-level dungeons.
Right. I went through 2 of them, I think, and they were both like Zelda 1.
Yeah.
Like
they're
level
both very
labyrinths, if you will.
Yeah,
even though there was nothing labyrinthine about Zelda's labyrinths.
Yeah. But now, I mean, in the Lost Woods is just like out of the thing. It's got the dropping rocks just like it. You collect bottles. You get the.
You okay, Michael?
You get heart pieces, a boomerang, a hook shot, which wasn't in. There was no hook shot in the first Zelda.
No, that's why it's a mix of Link to the Past.
Yeah. But and also I felt like it's filled with so many so many smart, deep references to games of that time that and ones that I felt like. I'm a huge Dragon Quest fan, and there was at least three or four very specific Dragon Quest / Dragon Warrior references in it.
Or if you count the loading screens.
Well, yeah, I'm not even counting loading screens in this.
Which you posted a whole article about.
Did I?
And then, And then on top of that, like, there's a lot, as Michael pointed out today, there's a lot of references just to From Software, the developer.
Which will actually be yesterday when this podcast
right.
posts. But yeah, they're just on the character select screen alone, there's a bunch of characters that are from other From Software games. There's references to Armored Core and like several obscure games that never came out in the U.S.
Metal Chaos.
Yeah, Metal Wolf Chaos.
Metal Wolf
yes.
Chaos.
Yes.
Well, that's also I love in the game.
Yes,
they have
President is the 67th president of the U.S. who's gone missing. It's a direct reference to Metal Wolf Chaos, and if you don't know what that is, you should look at my article.
And also look at Chris's top 7 presidents.
Please don't. Let's just let that die.
No.
But
every 4 years. Every 4 years, I'm going to
presidents of Chris's heart.
There's no reason to dig that corpse up.
That was one of the worst nights.
It
was one of the worst nights of my Games Radar life. Was you trying to get that modded Xbox to play that fucking disc while I was editing the podcast, so you could do that and ruin my Halloween.
Dude, there's pictures of me editing video in my boo-boo costume at 11 o'clock at night. Fucking terrible.
That was the Halloween that time forgot.
But you went above and beyond with that feature. Lots of people would have just found like one YouTube video of it and gotten screens from that. But
it was one of those things that I love finding as of late, especially Japanese sites. The official site is still active. I don't know why nobody looked at that. Like, all that art is still there. All that weird shit is still there, live. And yeah, I did go above and beyond, but I've learned I'm not going to do that anymore.
It didn't translate to.
No, it didn't translate.
Which is sad because it was an excellent article.
No, it wasn't.
3D Game Hero is really great, and it's like you can get it for $40 on Amazon. You can get it for like $38. It's totally worth it. Don't buy Lost Planet 2. Spend like $20 less and get 3D Game Heroes. If you have a PS3, if you don't have a PS3, you're screwed.
If you listen to this, if you read our site and you get every joke and understand everything we say, it will sort of validate your entire existence.
It's just like, also, if you played Retro Game Challenge, you're really going to like it too. It's like in the very similar vein.
I'd played a commercial from it before, but this one is awesome. And our UK side, remember who did it?
It was Matt Cundy.
Matt Cundy posted an article about the rap, which, did he not care for it?
No, he liked it, but he
didn't understand the
Didn't get that it was a reference to something.
But that's
I understand. It's an American.
3D Game Heroes gets references.
Really
and this is so fucking deep.
So what can you do in .NER? Once you're done messing with the editor, just sit right back and you'll be amazed. These block minigames will keep you busy for days. Destroy all block.
Amazing.
Oh wait, get farther. I love how they
Amazing.
even
3D Game Heroes got the blocks that rock under $40 while it's still in stock. Order it now, you'll be sad if you missed them. Available exclusively for your PS3 system.
3D Game Heroes. Your parents help you hook it up.
I thought no.
Wiki.
Yeah, you skip the part where the guy goes wiki. Just like out of the.
I moved on because it's.
But anyway, so yeah, Cundy, he is not from America, so I can understand why he didn't know the very direct thing they're referencing.
I can't imagine. Well, what is it? What is it referencing?
It's The Legend of Zelda, and it's really rad.
Did you see the latest Nintendo newsletter?
Whoa, nice graphics. I'd like to get my hands on that game.
We've played it before. I feel like I've used it 1,000 times.
It's just so good.
One like
super nerd.
One albino nerd.
Super nerd.
Super
nerd.
That almost works.
It's The Legend of Zelda, and it's
Yes.
really rad. Those creatures from Ganon are pretty bad. Octoroks, Tektites, Levers too. But with your help, our hero pulls through. Yeah, go Link. Yeah, get Zelda.
Awesome.
Intense.
The Nintendo Entertainment System. Your parents help you hook it up. The Legend of Zelda.
Man, I've literally watched that commercial 500. I've watched it probably 800 times on television and on YouTube. I've done it 1 billion times. I've seen it 1 billion times, and I've probably watched
3 billion times.
32,000 times just for articles on Games Radar.
yeah.
And
so yeah, I was surprised Cundy hadn't heard of it.
yeah,
but I'm not.
I was trying to think, like, how would that have gone over? And Oh no, I can't even make my anecdote because Elson's going to step on my date. 1986 in the UK, or something like that.
Close enough.
Well, they got the NES a lot later.
Yeah, like just would it just sound like the fucking Streets or Ali G or something?
Right.
Let yourself is really bad. What? It
was bizarre even when
it's wicked, mate.
It just Nintendo of America. I don't know how to advertise this game that's not like a game that came out before with this huge world that you save your progress and have to come back for hours and hours and hours with all these secrets intentionally built in, and it's vague. Like, how do you advertise that? With a rap.
It's almost an obscenely American commercial.
The cool kid and the nerd rap together about how fun this game is.
But that's before, as a child, before you all settled into your classes.
I tend to forget how
nerds and jocks and
how deep the rap is about a game that no one's played yet.
Yeah.
It's the Legend of Zelda, and it's really rad. Those creatures from Ganon are pretty bad. Octoroks, Tektites, Levers, too.
What the fuck?
It's like I will say it was a big improvement over how it was first advertised, which was
that dude running around.
Yeah, some dude in a black turtleneck in a stark gray room, and just kind of like miming these things and freaking out, like Octoroks, Levers.
Oh yeah,
it's I swear in my mind I just see Tim Burton running around in a black like performance suit.
Yeah,
Tim Burton's Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
If you ever needed a Photoshop assignment, there it is.
That dude and his stupid hair.
There it is.
I love that commercial. Yeah.
I'd love to see Tim Burton's American McGee's Alice.
But yeah, like that game, 3D
Too possible.
3D Heroes game also was really cool when they released like a video a week practically for the last several months, and then one I wrote a story on probably 2 months ago where they just referenced the shop where you buy things, and his name was Crazy Error, or what, I can't remember what the guy's name was, but it was Error from Zelda 2. Like, tell him Error sent you, and it was full of all the exact shit from Zelda. Like everything that they've done with the marketing is very clever.
It's a secret to everyone.
Yeah, it's a secret to everybody, and it's really funny. And
Atlas is so smart. Like they really knew how to market that.
I'm looking forward to playing. I've just got to beat Final Fantasy 13.
It's 2 months.
I'm 55 hours into this bastard, and I'm in Orphan's Cradle.
I will never be
You're almost
that
done.
far.
I know I'm almost done. Did you
got
beat
about
it?
5 more hours. Yeah.
Oh, Chris,
5 more hours
I
left.
didn't know you
Here's
games.
a spoiler without spoiling anything. Every possible resolution happens.
That's good.
That's good.
And then it's erased, and then you go on and you go on to the next resolution.
Oh,
that's good.
All right.
But I'm thinking
it was
about
sort of horrifying.
I'm thinking about finishing more of those sea stones because I did the first 32, and I'm really enjoying that.
I went back only because I wanted to level like all the way up.
I need to. I wanted
to master.
My Crystarium is all the way full.
Yeah. Which is bullshit because they don't let you go past a certain point in the Crystarium. Like, I'm ready to fill up some more crystals.
Yeah, you have to beat it and then get level 10 unlocked. So, a game that came out in March, everybody.
Yep.
Game that came out in March. Like the last thing I played.
I am just now being able to finally finish it in time to play Red Dead Redemption.
I was overcome by Pirates of the Caribbean Armada of the Damned information. Hopefully this will keep you all interested.
So the name of the main character is Jack Robin, right? Not Jack.
No.
Okay.
No, it's Captain Sterling.
Oh, okay. I don't know how much JS.
Jack Bird to be named later.
I don't know what'll be in the game. It was sort of cool. He's
Captain
set up,
Jim Parrott.
He's set up as a he is sort of a white collar dude who has a very big pirates fixation. So he turns 21. His dad's dead, and he takes his inheritance and like, I'm gonna be a fucking pirate.
It's so cool.
Everybody turns on him. Dude's fucking killed. Resurrected, and that's sort of where the game starts. I think, from what I can tell, and then it sort of splits off into a Fable / Infamous kind of thing, where you progress. You can choose whether you want to be dreaded, evil, legendary, Jedi, and the decisions you make. Like, it was nasty. Like, if you heard the interview, I'm trying to ask her, are you gonna have problems with the ESRB? Like the dreaded guy took out an anchor and hooked a guy in the face and pulled him by the throat. Even the heroic guy, he stabs a guy in the foot and then punches him in like the neck or the nuts. And
I can see how it's easy to confuse.
And the sword flies out of his. There's a lot of animations, and it was all sort of rough stuff. And he stands in like a heroic, hands on his hips, as the guy flies in the air and he catches his sword in his hand. If you're the heroic, but you can also be the nasty dude. So sort of cool. They made it a point to say they wanted to be more like Fabled and like a BioWare game.
Right.
Because the moves you make, you can customize your ship, but you customize your ship by hiring a crew.
Right.
Your crew is what defines your ship's attributes, but certain people won't talk to you, considering how you play.
So this already sounds like a bigger deal than the previous Pirates games.
I think
it sounds kind of Mass Effect-y as
the
well.
uphill battle it has with our audience is just that it has the Pirates name attached.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I reviewed the DS Pirates game, and then I had to take a couple preview appointments for Dead Man's Chest games, and they were terrible.
They're all terrible. And then they completely recognize that, and the movie that's coming out, probably will come out at the same time, doesn't even, like, there's none of the cast in it. It hasn't started filming.
When does the game come out? Next year?
The game comes out in 2011.
Is there another Pirates movie next year?
In 2011.
There is?
Remember we were talking about how
We've only gotten Sparrow back.
How movies are sucking and they can't get cast back because what they do, instead of having a script and a cast and a director, they sign a date.
Yeah, they start with the date.
Pirates has a date, and that's it. Well, they have, like, Johnny Depp is signed on, and apparently that's all that matters. None of those other characters mattered.
No, as long as he's there, it doesn't matter who directs it.
I'm not a huge fan of the Pirates movies. Like, I'm one of the rare people who hated the first one.
Really? I didn't like the first one.
I love the first one.
I don't understand it either because I saw the second one and fucking loved it.
I loved the second one, and everyone was like, "The second one sucked."
You are completely backwards.
Like I don't know.
The second one was great. I thought the third one was
It's confusing. It's confusing.
It had problems. I liked it. Ultimately, I don't agree that it sucked, but
that whole universe of like you're still a fucking pirate, but there's gods and magic and death and zombies. Fucking awesome.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
It's all sort of reflected here, and I was trying to pick out tiny things that I hated about licensed games, and the one thing I didn't hit upon in the article much is I realized most licensed movie games, well, Ratchet, he's Ratchet, right? You mash one button, you do one thing over and over again. His feet don't really connect with the ground. He just sort of slides around. Sloppily, like the pirates, I don't know, they just had heft, and he had heft, he had weight, he's not a weightless ninja, and it's very much RPG-like. Even when you're kicking the shit out of people with combos, they have ATB meters over their heads. Guns, and there's also ship battles, which is like what we tried. It was funny being in like that level you were talking about and being in Lost Planet. Like, well, we made the levels. It turns out the seas are too big. So we're going to have to shrink the ocean. We're going to have to shrink the ocean.
Right.
And I'm like, get it, fine. I saw Assassin's Creed do it. Shrink. Everything there is real, but it's all condensed to make a fun gameplay experience. Fine. No wind. No fucking wind. God damn it. No wind when you're on a ship. The waves make sense. And then it just goes over the shoulder and it just turns nasty. There's a dash maneuver to get your ship away from
dash.
It's literally, it looks. I mean, it's in a crude state, but it looks as crude as it sounds. But it makes the combat more fun. And eventually they were like calling down thunder from the skies. I asked about the Kraken, and they just like turned and looked at one another. You can't say anything about. All right, I'll say it. The Kraken will be in there. Fine. I know it's impossible for you to do a Pirates game without the Kraken in it. The pirate combat, you can pinpoint. I want to shoot the mast, the hull, take all these people's loots, and I really like boarding the ship. And so that's when you hire a crew, you can get nastier folk who will swing on and murder. So much murder. I don't understand how the movies got away with the PG-13 rating. I know this is going to get a teen rating no matter what.
Yeah.
But everything I saw was combat with people.
Well, you take out the blood, you'd be amazed.
Exactly, they took out the blood. One of his moves, he took out a bottle of rum, threw it in the air, and then shot it behind the back with his gun and set everybody on fire, which should be horrific.
Yeah.
But it was outrageously comical, and I didn't get it. It was like the last thing I wrote in the article, and I didn't get it across. And it made me realize one thing that was sort of special about the Pirates movies. Again, a lot of movies try and be action comedies.
Yeah.
But the Pirates movies, you can put some of that on Johnny Depp, but they're funny.
Yeah.
Everybody has some comic foible. Nobody's perfect. And so seeing the cinematics of the scenes, just seeing the cinematics that didn't take themselves so seriously, like there's a dimly lit fire and a villain walking in with his hands on his hips. See, you're here for the crystal. Everybody fucks up and everybody embarrasses themselves at some point. Whatever. I'm looking forward to it.
It sounds. Okay. I'm a lot more interested in it now.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to the Pirates game. Who wants to do some news?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Who wants to do some news?
Yeah.
Did you guys see that there were 4 Marvel vs. Capcom 3 characters?
Yeah.
Semi-unveiled?
Well, we already guessed them.
Yeah, we guessed
them. They weren't too hard to guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have the biggest Marvel nerds that work in any gaming publication. So I think I didn't see anybody say, "Oh, that's obviously the Super Skrull," even though that silhouette is iconic. Super Skrull.
Yeah, it still is.
It was very painful to see those screens from Game Informer leak, and you and Brett weren't in the office.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen those.
So instead, Tyler and I had to do it, and I, who have gone on record saying Spider-Man will not be in the game, see Iron Man and Felicia fighting in front of the fucking Daily Bugle with a Spider-Man balloon in the background.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Whoops-a-daisy.
They only licensed him for the balloon. They won't be him in the game. I doubt that.
It does seem strange that they would have him in the background of a level. I almost wonder that they might make a Marvel vs. Capcom without Spider-Man.
I can't see why they would have.
I don't know why they would do that.
If Activision were dicks and so we're the only people who signed up for.
Well, that's
Spider-Man
ultimately Marvel's call. It's their character.
Yeah.
But Activision signed on to this shit very early.
Right.
They could have deep shit in their
But
contract.
But Activision had Spider-Man when they made Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2.
Yeah, but what you're looking at with why Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi aren't coming back for a Spider-Man movie?
Because they're stupid.
Well, because as long as Activision or as long as Sony continues to make movies off their property, Activision can't take it back. That's why it has to happen now.
Marvel can't.
Marvel can't take it back. It's the same thing with Superman. There's gonna be a new Superman movie for no fucking reason.
Yeah, other than keep it there.
You can't let the rights lapse.
Yeah.
Remember, you all know as Marvel fans, the Fantastic Four movie by Roger Corman was done solely to keep the rights out of someone's fucking hands. They never had any intention of showing that movie to people. That's weird shit with comic characters, man. I'm fascinated by that.
It's sad. But yeah, no, I'm excited for that. I was less excited. I read other news this week that was reported by our old pal AJ Glasser.
Oh, I love him.
That that person reported that Disney Interactive says they have started developing their first Marvel video game.
I don't doubt it.
So yeah, just so you know that they've been purchased. So Disney Interactive now starting up on the Marvel stuff and. Eventually, they'll be the only people who own it, I would figure, and they'll just...
Maybe I'm swayed. I'll let the readers decide. But I wrote a tiny intro, and just the games coming out. The games that I saw, the last 2 weeks, split second, fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Disney. Toy Story 3. I'm not sure if it's amazing, but it's at least a novel approach to a licensed game.
Right.
We've all seen that, the toy box mode and stuff. I don't know. In Pirates of the Caribbean, fuck the movies. The universe is more interesting. Here's a competent studio we're going to give it to, and we're not going to... It's not going to be something we end up previewing 3 months before the movie comes out.
Right, yeah.
I've already seen it.
Well, okay, so maybe it's not as dire as it sounds.
No, there's also the thing where they're going to let... They know Capcom treats this thing well.
Mm-hmm.
Other people had the rights to Marvel various characters while Marvel vs. Capcom was being made. It wasn't like Capcom was the only one making... Activision made Spider-Man game in 2000, 2001. They've had those rights forever.
I thought you were going to bring up Rise of the Imperfect.
Well, there's also, Marvel Nemesis,
that too.
which was EA, and but that was after MVC2. But it's they're Marvel's... no one has the ironclad Marvel thing. And even though Disney, I guess, could decide to exercise that at some point,
I don't think they would.
I don't think they would, because they'll see what Capcom does with it. Well, and Activision, honestly, other than Spider-Man 3, makes good Spider-Man games. And I guess friend or foe if you like that. But
no, that was
terrible.
Well, I also want to bring up another. Speaking of sticky Marvel stuff. That
Spider-Man's webbing.
No,
you want to grow them, but it was too good.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 had downloadable characters, like lots of cool ones: Juggernaut, Magneto, Carnage. And then on January, I believe December 31st, January 1st, around that time, they all disappeared. You can't download any of them again. If you downloaded them before, you can re-download them. But Activision said, our license for those characters ran out, so we can't sell them anymore.
That's
So
really huge news.
Yeah, it just happened. I
Are
only
those
read
all
about
X-Men
it in
characters?
No, it was, like I said, Carnage was in there.
Excuse me, I heard Juggernaut and Magneto. Don't yell at
Carnage
me.
too, but I only read about it in OXM, like in their back pages. It was not.
I wonder if that means. I wonder if
news.
there's some weird deal like those are the characters who are going to be in MVC3.
Maybe
it's going to be Carnage because Juggernaut was in there, Magneto was in there, and Carnage seems like a weird one they might throw in there.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Speculation.
Speculation. We done speculed.
And I didn't know. I don't know if you were trying to bring up the Disney's working the Marvel thing. Is like you're worried.
A little.
You're worried, but I'll skip ahead to this only because it's a loose segue. If you're so worried about Marvel games, why were we, as journalogists, excited about Sega buying the rights to Marvel? Sega.
When did that happen?
Jesus Christ.
Well, they had rights to the.
Oh, you're talking about those movie games?
There you go.
They had rights to the.
There you go.
Hulk and Iron Man.
And they also, I remember they preemptively, they still have the rights to the Captain America and Thor movies
there
as well.
You go.
Oh, I was never excited about that.
If Sega is still in existence in a year from now to publish them,
how could it be worse?
Yeah, it can't be worse.
How could it be worse?
Like those are the epitome of shitty movie games.
How could it be worse? You go look at the company under the Disney Studios umbrella, and it's like, I mean, these guys designed Turok. That would be better than Sega.
Like, I'm pissed that Sega has had 2 chances at an Iron Man game and has farmed it out to people who can't do it.
Yeah,
well, that's why they closed that studio. Those people all got fired.
God, I tried to play the Iron Man 2 game.
Yeah,
and
we got
I still
some
remember
copies,
all the previews with the guys saying like, "Oh no, we realize the first one really sucked. We're not going to let that happen this time. It'll be so awesome."
No.
And it's just like, okay, the first level was okay. I got to the second level, and it's like, oh, it's a big dirty trench filled with tanks, just like all of the first game. Fuck this shit. I'm not playing it. It's so boring. Plus the second level's an escort mission. You have to keep shield helicopters safe from tanks.
Jesus,
I really had the.
You know how helicopters stay away from tanks? They fly more than 50 feet in the air.
Yeah, these don't.
Not these helicopters.
Wow.
You know, tanks can't shoot straight up, helicopter.
Next time you're flying over Ask-Crapistan or whatever, maybe try 75 feet, just out of shelling range.
We all had our different opinions on the Iron Man movie. Oh, Charlie's not here. He hated it.
He didn't hate it. He said he'd give it a C or 2 stars.
I thought it was okay.
I thought it was all right. I'd give it a B.
I thought it was pretty good.
B.
As far as superhero movies go, it was completely unpredictable.
As far as movies
mainly
go,
because the second act was almost entirely devoted to setting up a franchise.
Yeah, it was weird that the movie took a pause to go, okay,
but I'm cool with that.
Avengers, Tony Stark midlife crisis about his chest that will be solved by his father's impossible to predict health issue.
As a dork, I walked into that movie like a stepping stone. Like, I know this. It has to be leading to something else. I know.
You're gonna build up Nick Fury big time.
Yeah. My only problem was like that the movie was each of the individual story threads that were going on were good, but the final edit of the movie is just really disjointed. I felt it was like it was. Whiplash. Everybody fucking stop talking about Whiplash for 30 minutes because Tony Stark's going to make a new element. From Disney's going to tell him how to make a new element. And then he makes a new element, and now I'm solved. So remember that thing I was worried about my blood being poisoned? Fuck that, that's over. It's like
Deus Ex Machina.
It's like you invented and solved a problem that didn't need to be there within 45 minutes.
Dad showed
but his dad doesn't matter ever in 40 years of comic books, so shut up.
Jesus, I'm not really defending it.
I know.
Yeah. But I needed a reason for him to become alcoholic.
What I liked,
he's already an alcoholic.
What I liked with Nick Fury, though, was what was so cool is that he was like Samuel L. Jackson was perfect for it, but it's because they made him and wrote him to be Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, well, the
He said it.
The ultimate Nick Fury.
Someday we got to get that picture. I actually have that.
It's in the Ultimates Volume 1.
It's in the Ultimates Volume 1.
They draw him specifically.
Who would play you in a movie?
Well, that's a line in it. Yeah.
Fuck Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah,
Is there any doubt?
He says it in the comics.
Yeah.
So.
I will say, that I love the first Iron Man, and the third act. It's like shit. I don't want to make an old reference, but like the last half of Stripes. Like, everybody loves
exactly
it,
what
and
you mean.
Nobody fucking remembers it.
Yeah,
nobody remembers
exactly.
what the goddamn hell happened at the end of Iron Man 1. Because it doesn't matter.
Fight. Well, what disappointed me on Iron Man 1 was that the final fight scene was like Tony wasn't at 100% the whole time.
Yeah, which is a recurring problem in all Iron Man fights. Oh, I've been compromised. I'm at 70%.
That's why in this...
Whatever that means.
In the finale,
I didn't put on my
this,
Y2K deodorant.
That's why this finale was better.
I liked it.
I think the finale was
like
great.
it as much.
The
He just
finale
like he shows up and the boss fight is like 2 minutes long.
Well, no, the actual like
No.
when
I'm
all
counting
fought
all the drones in the dome.
When they fought the drones, that was awesome. But the Whiplash fight could have lasted. The final Whiplash fight could have lasted.
Don't
a little
care.
bit longer.
I've seen what
spoiler
happens
alert.
when
Spoiler
you
alert if you haven't
don't
seen it
spoil
yet.
anything.
No, I'm saying what
All
we've been
this
saying
already
have been
is-
spoilers.
Yeah. It made $130 million.
I said, I was like, wow, this is a way better ending. The drones are out. He's fighting facsimiles of himself. I'm like, holy shit, they're going to use this as an excuse to base the entire game off this.
Yeah.
That's all he's going to do.
I wish they'd done that.
It's it's just looking at the movie, I'm like, oh my god, these are reskinned robots.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, it was a very video gamey sequence.
I will say the video game does work in those stupid that like split second of footage of like the North Korean suit falling over and shooting the camera.
Have you played
that
the game?
thing's in the fucking game.
Wow.
Have you played the game?
Yes.
Does
I
it
was
have
just
that? Does it
talking
have the cast?
about
in it?
it.
Does it have?
Yeah, it
Does it have the cast?
It does, and they hand in terrible performances.
I got clips.
Oh, we should have had
of
audio.
I have audio.
You should have.
If it's not them, it's a pretty
Trying
good
to segue
sound alike.
before both you and Michael yelled at me. I have audio, but it's not. I looked it up. It said the cast was involved.
Yeah.
This is what I have.
Brody, I swear to God, you make my stupid robots look like skilled Swiss technicians.
Well, that's not Robert.
Are we
Downey
talking
Jr.
RDJ?
Yeah.
Hold on. You need to hear the beginning again.
Charlie.
Right.
Ooh, that should be on there.
That could be our new why. I could get into the real rotation.
And then this is an exchange between two popular characters in the movie.
Want to take it for a spin?
Looks like Shadlov's gone rogue. Enough gas in this thing to get me to Russia?
Gas. You're so old school, Nicky.
Those aren't the characters.
Those aren't the characters at all.
No.
So was I
I
seeing
was sure
something that was
Cheadle-
very early on?
I thought Cheadle recorded stuff for it. I know Samuel L. Jackson did. That was I
That
see him
sounds like
our review
Phil
today
Lamar
for
on a very bad day.
I
Phil
see him
Lamar,
as-
good voice actor reference.
Well, he's the only black voice actor in the
Hey,
universe.
come
No,
on.
I'm not. It's a problem with the voice acting field that there
As a
aren't two
lifelong-
black people that.
As a lifelong Mad TV fan.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. There's only one black man. There's one black woman who does the voice. Like her famous voice was Susie on Rugrats, and she does every other
That's right.
African.
She was on A Different World?
A different world, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, according to IMDb,
Yeah, they're all.
it says Robert Downey Jr., Mickey Rourke, Samuel L. Jackson, Don
And
Cheadle.
I didn't
just
trust
a
it.
template?
Like,
Jeremy Irons is Ultimo?
Yeah, right after the main movie cast, I see
He was in the second Dungeons and Dragons movie, or the first.
right
no,
after all the main voice cast on IMDb. What's below it? Frank Welker.
Yeah,
the
Frank
will
Welker.
talk for food guy.
Yeah.
I don't have a price.
He's
He didn't
fucking
save any-
Megatron. Be
He's
nice.
fantastic.
He didn't save his money, I guess.
He didn't
That's
say.
why he
Well,
keeps
voice actors
working.
aren't worth shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
that's-
his
yeah.
Transformers money. I'm sure there's a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm sure he, when he recorded all that. Yeah.
He's
By the
just-
way, bad news: Mudflap and Skids
Not gonna
cut out
be-
of Transformers
Oh,
3.
what a
I'm sorry.
shame.
I didn't see.
I still haven't seen that movie, and I refuse.
I can see Fred Welker like being thrown out of his apartment. They're like, "You're late on rent again." He's like, "I was Freddy on Scooby Doo." Does that mean nothing to you?
Talking like Megatron at him.
He was Freddy? Oh,
Yeah.
Freddy. Okay, I was thinking of
I have,
Shaggy.
Apparently,
no.
Pepper
Yeah,
Potts
that was
was
Casey
voiced
Kasem.
not by Gwyneth Paltrow, but by Meredith Monroe.
Meredith
Meredith Monroe voiced Pepper Potts.
That's my biggest problem.
I thought
That's a
she was
Stan
dead.
Lee- I was going to say that's
With the
a
new
Stan
Marvel
Lee
thing.
character.
The new Marvel thing, they're like, Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. Like, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. He doesn't cost that much. He's probably going to be proud to be a part of this.
Yes.
Gwyneth Paltrow is Pepper Potts. Pepper Potts doesn't fucking matter.
No.
At all. Why would you cast an Oscar-winning leading actress?
Yeah, that's going to get pricey after.
It's going to get pricey. Guess who won't be in the Avengers?
Yeah, she doesn't need to be, though. She's not part of the Avengers.
All they need
But you know what?
is Tony.
What?
All you need is Robert Downey Jr. to sell that movie.
Not, dude. Big RDJ fan. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's your homework assignment, listeners. You go watch Kiss
I've
Kiss
had
Bang
that
Bang.
for a year from you, and
I know.
I may have lost it.
I know.
Have
I
we
forgot
talked
what I was
about
going to say.
games?
But Gwyneth Paltrow is a big celebrity.
Okay.
Yes.
What are your least favorite parts of Iron Man 2?
The parts.
The answer is scenes involving Gwyneth Paltrow. Scenes
I
involving
guess they
Gwyneth
were.
Paltrow,
Well, not
who has to be,
okay.
She's not. She's okay, but
When it-
Jon Favreau could have freaked out on his own in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy
Jon
seeing.
Favreau or kind of my least
Yeah, Jon
favorite.
Favreau
I'd
should
say Jon
have
Favreau,
not had himself in the movie so fucking much.
I completely disagree.
Happy
I'm a big Jon
Hogan
Favreau
is
fan.
much
I'm a
less
big fan of
important.
him too, but Happy Hogan is such a minor character,
He's
even
way
compared
more
to
minor
Pepper
than
Potts.
Yeah, Pepper
No
Potts.
idea.
Happy Hogan, Pepper Potts, does he just surround himself with people with
Alliteration.
That's
They're
Stan
all
Lee's
Arrested Development
naming
characters.
Bruce
convention.
Banner, Peter Parker, Clark Kent. That's the way it works.
Reed Richards, Susan Storm,
That's the way it
J.
works.
Jonah Jameson.
Man, this is God. Stanley was such a one-note namer.
Well, yeah, that's why you don't
Maybe
read
it was
old
Jack
Marvel
Kirby.
comics.
I don't
It's
care.
I think he had all his
because-
pitches read by Edward G. Robinson.
No, that's
That's
something I've noticed from going back to old Marvel comics is like you look at the art and you're like, this art is classic, but like the way it worked is the artists made the pages on what he like. Stanley said the plot should be this, and then they just move the pages, the images, however they wanted. Then they give those to Stan, and he's like, "Now I'm going to put the brilliant dialogue over these things." And they'd have scenes of like Spider-Man about to shoot a web into Sandman's face, and then Spider-Man would say an entire paragraph about how he's almost, this is a 1 in a million shot, but I've got to hit Sandman in the face with this web sling. I hope I can do it. And then the next panel is he does it, and then another person says an entire paragraph.
I know what you're talking. It reminds me when I was really into comics, and we get giant sticker sheets of little kid shit that was in a series, and we would put them in a book, and then I would write bubbles over them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going fishing today. Hello, frog. You're my best friend. Next page.
No, exactly. That's
that would have been a lot funnier if the audience had read my book.
Stanley gets too much. I say, as a longtime Marvel fan, Stanley gets too much credit. I don't. Stanley deserves a good deal of credit.
Everybody says that about someone who's been.
He really
stole all his credit.
Well, no, but Jack Kirby.
Obviously, he has people working underneath him, but he made a lot of hard decisions, and he.
I would love to have a real.
with Jack Kirby.
What?
I'm not trying to.
No.
Overskirt Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, anyway, we really haven't been talking about.
Sorry, video games.
We talked about the most popular movie in the country.
Video
justified.
games. I did want to talk about this, and it may be of interest only to me. Everybody see the Humble Indie Bundle?
What are you talking
The Humble
about?
Double Double?
The Humble Indie Bundle.
Oh, the giveaway. You can name
games.
your price.
Name your price games.
Just like Radioheads and Rainbows.
Exactly. Right? World of Goo, Penumbra Overture, Aquaria, Gish, Lagaru.
Have you said a real word this whole thing?
I did. World of Goo, I believe. That was the only one I heard of. It made over $1 million in a pay what you want, to you want scale. You could pay as little as $1.
That's really cool.
You could choose whether you want to give all of it to, what do I have down here? A charity, 2 charities, Child's Play or Electronic Frontier Foundation. If you want to give all to charity, you want to give all to the developers.
Huh.
And I think they
it's
said...
a nice experiment.
It was, and they said like on average, I think that all the developers made over $100,000.
Wow!
In this very short time. Tyler was talking because he was fascinated by
Tyler and Nagata or Tyler?
Wild. The highest contribution was $3,333.
Wow!
Damn.
$3,333. And
so, did you get all the games for that price, or you bought one for?
No, you got the entire pack for that
Okay,
price. But you could dictate which you want to go to charity, or
Right.
developers. And Tyler took a lot of pride that was a Linux user. They didn't disclose who exactly did it, other than what OS you were using.
Wow!
And Linux came in first.
Wow!
Apple came in second.
Weird.
The stingiest people are Windows users. Huh?
And
it's because Windows is everyone.
I was ready to yell about that. He's like, you do understand Windows is not only everyone, but a lot of kids who don't own credit cards.
Yeah.
And in the fact that it's Linux, who are people using an open source program, who believe that should proliferate.
Yeah.
So they're going to pay people.
Yeah.
For open source games.
I can't imagine anyone using Linux as their default OS probably has some money to burn.
If you're using Linux, your life sucks. Like it's all just keeping up with Linux and having everything working on Linux because you believe in what it is. It's a moral choice that comes down to your gaming purchase.
It's the droid of computers. Is that a good reference? I don't know.
I didn't mean to kick off
Anybody?
I don't know either.
I didn't mean to kick off a giant discussion about it, but
are we almost done with the second set?
Maybe. 25% of the downloads, as estimated by Wolfire founder Jeff Rosen.
You're going to say Wolverine.
Wolfire Games founder Jeff Rosen, 25% were pirates.
What?
Rather than pay $1 for 5 games worth $80.
They just stole them?
Well, because they're DRM free. It's like you get to this login screen. It's like, here you go. Download as much as you want, DRM free, and people just passed it around and stole it.
Wow!
But Tyler made a good point. In the Windows aspect, if you're a Mac user, you got a bankroll. If you're a Linux user, you're a fucking adult. And we were talking about like when you were a little kid, what did you use for a credit card? Like how did you buy things online?
I didn't have online when I was a kid.
We're all too old.
It was online.
No,
By the time I had the internet connection, I had money.
I would ask my parents.
Some of you weren't driving till 21, so like
16, man.
I drove at 18.
16th birthday.
At 18. So like, how did you make online purchases?
I would.
I did online purchases.
Yeah,
for a
there
long
wasn't.
time.
I remember how hard it was. It was like PayPal.
I would
was one
send
way to
money
go.
orders.
I wanted
for eBay stuff.
Money
That's what
orders. I wanted to play poker online. I could sign my checking account to some offshore account. It would give me a fake, like a phony credit card number to trick the system into thinking I was giving this much money. They didn't fuck me out of money, but like. That's how weird it was.
I don't think I bought anything online until like 2000.
It just brought up this odd point of like even with Steam and DRM free shit, like kids 18 and under are excluded almost completely.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I don't know. Kids today with their cell phones and their all that, they probably got the credit cards.
I hate to sound like an adult. I can't wait to encourage my kids to do bad things. Like, yeah, do a threesome with that guy. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. But I would never give my kid a debit card under any circumstances. Wow. So I can't imagine.
You don't know how crystal meth treats you until you try.
What else do I have?
Sometimes some people die the first time they have paint, but sometimes it's awesome.
Everybody wants to end this. I'm gonna go to break.
Okay.
With this, and then one tiny other thing. These are the top 10 games of 2010 so far.
Okay.
Who was ready? And
is this sale? Wait, is this sales or rate or
sales?
Reviews? Okay.
Sales.
Where did this information come from?
The NPD.
Oh, that's official.
Only from January through March.
All right. Well,
so games of the first 3 months.
Games of a quarter of the year. How do you want to say
all
it?
right. Well,
I can sensationalize it if you'd like me to.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know this.
Technically, it's only for 1/300th of the century.
Should we make? Wait, before you read it, why don't we all make a prediction of what number 1 is?
No, don't do that because we already know what it's going to be.
All right, just read it off.
I don't have 10 through 8. You'll have to bear with me. If sound effects. Hold on. Number 10. Number 10 is this. I thought this was weird. Pokemon Heart Gold.
Number 10. Wow.
That is kind of weird.
Kind of low.
But it came out in March.
In March.
And
It
did. And if it's January
I bought it
through
on my
March.
birthday. But you'll see what I'm saying in a second.
Yeah.
Number 9 is Mass Effect 2.
Okay.
360.
I wish it were higher.
Number 8 is Battlefield
Bad Company 2.
That's what I was going for.
Right.
360. Number 7. There we go. Final Fantasy 13.
PS3?
Elston, that is correct.
Wow, the 360 went outsold PS3?
No, it's PS3, excuse me, PS3.
PS3 is as high as it gets. 360 isn't going to be...
360 was number 15.
Okay, I see.
Number 6. Anybody want to take a huge stab?
Bioshock 2, 360.
Oh.
Dante's Inferno?
Oh no. Which did rank sort of high.
I would imagine it was pretty high.
But
Darksiders?
No.
Dark Void.
Go move into things you hate.
Just Dance.
Wii Fit Plus.
Oh,
board.
But that came out so long ago.
Not with a plus balance board, apparently.
That came out in October.
Don't fucking argue with me with information I copy and paste off the fucking internet. It just elongates things unnecessarily. Number 5, Wii Sports Resort.
Wow.
From July last year.
Is Wii Play going to be on this list too?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Number 4 is COD.
COD.
Mawa 2.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Which version?
360.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Number 3.
Dante's Inferno.
Just Dance.
Oh, everybody. Michael, I'm looking at you. You should know this over everybody.
I don't remember.
God of War
3 here.
Brett Elston. It is God. Number 3 is God of War. Is God of War number 3. Which is sort of cool because the PS3 ranked quite a bit on this list.
Yeah, it did good this year.
Number 2.
This 3 months.
This is the one we can wait.
Bioshock 2.
Ooh,
Bayonetta.
Bioshock 2 is just not on this list.
Bayonetta, not even on the top 30.
Yeah, Bayonetta tanked as far as I can see.
It did not. It sold over 1 million.
How did it sell over 1 million and it's not on this list?
Because these
are like in the 2 to 3.
Look what we're getting. Remember, Pokemon Heart Gold is number 10.
Oh, Soul Silver. Soul Silver's number 2.
You know, it is Soul Silver.
All right,
out of everybody in the office, I was the only one who bought Soul Silver.
I have Soul Silver.
I thought Heart Gold was the big one.
No, I think it's pretty even in the office, Soul Silver to Heart Gold.
According to this MPD list, it isn't because there's 8 games. There's 7 games separated.
More kids are going, that bird looks stupid.
Yeah, I think Lugia looks cooler than
I think Lugia is way cooler than stupid.
I just took it like I want the gold one. Why would I want the second place game?
Yeah, that was my thinking. That was my thinking 10 years ago, and it's my thinking today.
I just like Lugia.
Oh man, so we're gonna have to go straight for the gut when we talk about Pokemon Black and White.
So what's number? Oh wow,
Bioshock 2.
No, I didn't even think of that. If I'll be racist if I pick white, black and white.
You lose either way.
It's too late.
So what's number 1?
I can't tell you.
Okay, let's wait for you.
Number
to pull
1
up
is is somebody take a guess. It's so easy.
Bioshock 2.
No.
Bioshock
Sims 3.
The game deal segment would seem to reveal that Bioshock 2 might not have done that well.
Dante's Inferno. Bayonetta.
Darksiders.
Think bigger.
God of War Collection.
Think something that came out before January 2000.
New Super Mario Brothers Wii.
Assassin's Creed.
No.
New Super Mario Brothers Wii. Exactly.
You are buying New Super Mario Brothers Wii.
You're all dumb and wrong.
With that, we will go to break, but I've been inundated with Disney shit all week. And the most fun thing, Charlie and I went to Pixar.
It's a fine.
Not going to bore you with the details.
Dude, don't.
Game's so cool. Pixar rules.
Right.
And I didn't expect, like, the theater opened up and came out and they're like, hi, I'm Jeff Garland. What the fuck? Why is Jeff Garland here talking about a game? He made it clear that he didn't know anything about it. The director is there. The producer is there. And a lot of weird pressure. You're going to interview all of us now. Like, I had no plans in doing that, nor do I have the method of hosting this.
I don't even have a mouse.
Here's what I'll do. I'll pretend my iPhone is a tape recorder, and I'll set it next to your
Dude,
mouth.
I've done that before.
And I did.
With a BlackBerry. And I'm like, let me just put this in between us.
And I
now
did. And they called me today. Are you going to do anything with that? I'm like, I wrote a preview. Did you? Shit! The Pixar people are mad at me.
How special? When's the interview going?
Here's my Pixar nod. Jeff Garlin just walked in the room after Lee, what's-his-nuts, who's the director of Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
Who was incredibly intimidating, but very nice. Jeff you guys get to interview me. Yeah, this is great. And nobody knows what to ask him.
Right.
It's like, is that it?
So
no one wants?
How many people have you fucked wearing a bush mask?
I just wanted to ask him, would you please just do a Talk Radar plug? But you have to get away from all these people.
Right.
You have to get away. I'm not going to ask in front of the guys. It was like me and the Giant Bomb guy and the guy from Associated
actually,
Press.
if you want to hear another, I listened to the Giant Bomb podcast.
Don't ruin
today,
it, you shithead. I have him ask who was there. Who was there?
Vinny and Vinny Caravella and Ryan. I forget his last name. Yeah.
This is them. And he, like, just as like a piecemeal, like as he's walking into the room, he asks one question.
How is this different from working on Curb?
How is it different from working on Curb? I don't say cock.
Holy shit!
Oh my god! I can't believe you fucking got that.
We got that
on the Giant Bomb podcast. He tells that story,
right,
but he doesn't have quote.
Calm down,
you need
calm
to
down,
tell the
fanboy.
Giant Bomb
You're supposed to
people
be on
you
our
have this
side.
quote. Yeah, but I'm
You
just
need to be
saying,
on our side.
This is like a crossover.
Yeah, I'm not going to give. I'm not going to give them our exclusive.
Play it again.
I'm not going to give them our exclusive. Let me play it with an exclusive.
Silence.
Hold on. Here is Jeff Garlin saying cock at a Toy Story 3 press conference.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Oh my god.
How is this different from working on Curb?
How is it different from working on Curb? I don't say cock.
Yes.
Wow.
And now we have our clip for YouTube.
Seriously, you should send that to Ryan.
I'll send it to the guys because he asked the question. Like and he only did it as like, what the fuck are we supposed to ask you? You've already made it a point you don't know anything about the game.
Which voice is he?
And what, dude?
He's the
unicorn.
Wally.
He's the captain in Wally, but he's a unicorn. And the scene we saw is Timothy Dalton as the method acting toy Mr. Prickle Pants.
God damn it!
The hedgehog
I want to
and
see
I think
that
Bonnie
movie
Hunt.
so much.
I saw the intro and a little bit of the end and a little bit of the beginning. It's not. It's only really great.
Okay.
It's only really great. And
I don't need that then. I'm gonna go see Robin Hood.
But the greatest thing
It's got Kristen Shaw.
The greatest thing in the world to see on that level inside Pixar is 16 PR people turning white when Jeff Garlin yells cock on camera in front of the logo of Toy Story. It was absolutely phenomenal.
How fat is he in real life?
Oh, so fat! It's like he really worked at it.
Wait, this is the guy. I saw a thing about him on like Food Network or 2020 or something like that about how his eating problem.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of weight.
And that like he was describing like how bad it was. Like at its peak, it was like he'd be working, he'd be out at a shoot or whatever it is he was doing, and on his way home for dinner, he'd stop and be like, I'm gonna have a burger and some fries and a drink, and he'd have a dinner before he had dinner, and he was just eating out of control, and then like
I've been there out of boredom. You can watch it on The Sopranos. Like you had dinner before dinner, and then you got food poisoning with the first dinner. Like, yeah,
I think it was something like 2020 or one of those equivalent shows where he was talking about how bad his eating problems got.
Great. He's on Netflix. Watch now, Young and Handsome, a great special. He's a very strange, very comforting and warm stand-up. Very easygoing.
Yeah, I like his voice.
Honestly, never seen anything like it. Great stand-up.
It looks like he wants you to hug him like a lot of the time. He's like, what?
I mean, hug him. It's just like I've only heard stories about him because I do pay attention to the stand-up community. Yeah. He's like, it's just like he's been around for years. He just does whatever the fuck he wants all the time, and it's usually entertaining. All right. We're going to go to break. Everybody has to pee. Elson is freaking out.
Let's pee
Sorry,
together.
everything's so long. In the break, more Zelda rap. Hey.
Question of the week, comments, community segment.
You're only hurting your own bladder.
Playing your phone calls. It'll
Anything
be great.
Else?
It'll be great.
Anything else, Elson?
It'll be great.
Just say something nice for the people.
Sack sticks.
It's Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and you're listening to Talk Radar on GamesRadar.com. Dig it!
Down with Zelda from the very start.
I got the heart and smarts to play the part. Down with Zelda. Creeping through with an overhead view, cause a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. So I stay on track, collect the facts, never cut slack, and I always watch my back for Jack. Down with Zelda, yeah. Strong I stand, I'm the man with the plan, cause the power's in my head and the power's in my hand. Down with Zelda.
Game Boy sold separately.
Rap.
In my home, sweet home, I keep chrome next to my bones. Alters my walk to limping. Since I love the feel, I guess I'm passionately pimping. It is what it seems, that thing imprinting through the seam of my jeans. By all means, lost it all from life to love. But my faith and my money helped me rise above. See, I turned to the Lord when them times got tough. Bully through the streets, powder I pushed and shoved. And that's over Jenny. Out of 10 niggas, 9 a guinea. No money, all they know is gimme. Got semis waiting. Heat like Caribbean summers, I've been there. Each year, a different bitch wonder who wins, she gon' fall under. Push your mouth, Gonza Grimes with me, with thoughts of fucking them cross of mine. Look, ma, that's right up my alley. I love my family, I want them all happy in Virginia. We smirked at the Simpson trial. Yeah, I guess the chase was wild, but what's the fuss about? See, plenty my partners feeling like OJ. Beat murder like the shit is okay. That's what I do say. Talk the evil that men do. I'm lost in the men too. I miss you, shampoo. We miss you, shampoo. And your grams too. I'm from Virginia, where ain't shit to do but cook. Pack it up, sell it triple price, fuck the books. Where we re-up, relocate, re-off them rooks. So when we pull up, it ain't shit to do but look. I'm from Virginia, where ain't shit to do but cook. Pack it up, sell it triple price, fuck the books. Where we re-up, relocate, re-off them rooks. So when we pull up, it ain't shit to do but look. Seem like they all got a comment to make in regards to my paper. Now they guessing my weight. They fast to predict the outcome of my fate. Wondering about clips and if they got what it takes. Malice, he think he hard, tough guy to click. And Pusha, he walk around like he swear he the shit. You right on both counts, bitch. Clips is us. And there are some things that you don't discuss. Don't ask me about the Neptunes and what's they fare. Don't ask about the loud screaming chick with the hair. Don't ask about my music and how that's coming about. Don't ask about my album or when's it coming out. Cause I feel like you really being funny on the slide. Now face down, laying on your tummy or you die. I tried being humble, humble get no respect. Now first sign of trouble, that's a hole up in your neck. Plus what I look like spending my nights in jail. I could never be a thug, they don't dress this well. I reside in VA, ride in VA. Most likely when I die, I'm gon' die in VA. Virginia's for lovers, but trust there's hate here for out-of-towners who think that they gon' move weight here. Ironic, the same place I'm making figures at, that is the same land they used to hang niggas at in Virginia. Where ain't shit to do but cook. Pack it up, sell it triple price, fuck the books. Where we re-up, relocate, re-off them rooks. So when we pull up, it ain't shit to do but look. I'm from Virginia, where ain't shit to do but cook. Pack it up, sell it triple price, fuck the books. Where we re-up, relocate, re-off them rooks. So when we pull up, it ain't shit to do but look.
I need a second Wii to not play.
It's like, well, you know what? Mine's still in that box. I'm not even going to take it home. I don't even want it.
Well, now fucking GamePro gave theirs away. Like, we should do that.
I would if I hadn't already opened it and took pictures of it and it's all out of the packaging.
What? Who came?
That adds to the market value. You've had your fingers
It's
on
been
it.
touched
It's
by...
got Games Radar DNA.
Touched by
Games
an
Radar
Elston.
fingerprints. It's covered with...
Touched by...
Clone me at your demand.
That's right, we have a black Wii touched by an Elston.
Yeah.
TalkRadar segment 3.
Deciding if we should give away this black Wii that we have because it's there.
Well, the song bringing us in is Rock Band DLC. Well, it's live, but it's Judas Priest Breaking the Law. Always a great song.
Also,
man, fucking Judas Priest.
So I never cared. Judas Priest.
Oh, I just think of Beavis and Butthead.
Whatever.
It said it on a T-shirt.
But the black Wii, they had pointed out today, like, the Wii is kind of saturated the market.
A little bit.
Here's the new Wii.
Yep.
You cannot bring over any of your saves,
No.
Virtual Console.
I wondered about that because what's strange is that actually occurred to me because when the Black Wii came in, I was like, oh, I'm going to use this as my one for home. I'll just transfer all. Yeah. And then I was like,
whoops.
Oh, I can't transfer that, and I just kind of like accepted it and just was like, well, I'm just not going to use this Black Wii
product.
And it didn't even occur to me that that's a bunch of bullshit.
Now, if you recall, the Nintendo DSi allowed you the privilege of sending in your DS so Nintendo could transfer the data.
Yeah, it's horrible. the very idea, like they did not plan ahead at all.
Well,
just
you
assumed that everyone's going to want to buy everything again.
I don't think they want people pirating Mario Calculator because seriously, as a $5 item of a Mario themed calculator.
Piracy must be out of control.
I didn't even play this clip, which I apologize for using as the intro because I hate Glee. I don't like Glee.
I've never watched it.
You just mean the emotion.
No, I like the show. Like the first couple episodes, I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Jane Lynch is hilarious. And then it's a high school drama with a bunch of American Idol musical numbers. But they mentioned games a lot. And,
really?
Yeah, and I got this. I saw this on Go Nintendo. This should infuriate everybody because I think their headline was like, tries to reference Mario and fails.
Oh dear.
So what made Super Mario Brothers 3 so amazing was the...
What made Mario Brothers 3 so amazing?
The power-ups.
Power-ups? You think so?
I think that was the biggest thing. Between the raccoon, the frog suit, the Hammer Brothers suit, like that was what was, whoa, Mario can do all this cool shit.
Like the level progression, no, not like maybe the level 4 giant stuff.
Well, no, there's a ton of shit. But I mean, everyone thinks
wrote
raccoon.
A whole feature about
the
how
weird
awesome
warp whistles and the Zelda reference.
There's a ton of shit, yeah.
Okay, let's see what Glee has to say about it.
So what made Super Mario Brothers 3 so amazing was the Star Worlds. None of the other versions had anything like that.
What?
Wait, the Star World? That's Mario World. That's Mario World. Man.
Wrong.
Is it wrong?
You know, that's just terrible that they're thinking they're making a very deep reference by saying Star Worlds, and they get it completely wrong.
And on top of that, the Star Worlds were like anything I had seen before. They were just tougher worlds. They weren't like
I thought the Star World, like at the time, in context of everything, the Star Worlds are fucking ridiculous.
They were cool and they were definitely difficult, but that wasn't a thing I took away from. What were your favorite things? Like, what was so cool about Mario World? That's like 3 or 4 down the list.
So
like,
cool.
really?
The fucking cape.
The cape, the Yoshi,
I could see the point all he had to say, though, was Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Because like, I can make a case. The Star Worlds, like, everything else had, like, oh, it's a theme. I'm in the chocolate universe. And there are certain enemies here. But the fucking Star Worlds were absolutely fucking batshit. Like, there's going to be no platforms.
It was just total chaos.
Yeah, and all you had to do was say 3 instead of 4. Somebody knew. And it's that kind of fact checking that makes us better than Glee.
That actually briefly segues into a thing I tweeted about, I think on Sunday or Monday. Over the weekend, I bought the new EGM because EGM is back.
Yeah, buddy.
And I bought the new issue for $7
Oh,
Jesus,
man.
$7?
I don't remember.
Those are worth more than bison dollars.
Is it on newsstands?
Yeah, it was on newsstands. It was 5 or 7. I don't remember how much it was. It was like
Let's go to our local newsstand and
I literally just happened to find a newsstand. And
hear ye! EGM says Street Fighter is the best game of all time.
So
Street Fighter is the bee's knees.
So aside from
magazines are stupid.
No,
I loved EGM, especially in the 90s. Like, that's when most of us probably have all of our fondest memories, is the early, mid, and late 90s. What was EGM, like, really known for in the 90s? Street Fighter covers! All the time. That's what they were known for. And intense fighting game coverage. Because they were, like, the official word on that shit. Like, they knew forward and backwards. Fighting games. And in the issue, they actually pointed out, there's a 4-page history of EGM, like how it began and where it went, and then it disappeared, and now it's back, hooray. And it was like, they even made a point to go, we actually noticed that when we didn't put a fighting game on the cover, sales would decrease by 100,000 copies per issue that didn't mention a fighting game. That's how big fighting games were in the 90s. Everyone wanted to be Street Fighter 2.
And also, they had the announcement of Street Fighter 4 in their magazine, too. Later on, they had the big reveal of it.
So Street Fighter, and then when Mortal Kombat came around, it was also a big deal because they were all up Mortal Kombat's ass. Mortal Kombat 2 as well. Mm-hmm. And then in this article that's supposed to be recounting the history, on top of its mistakes, and spelling Game Boy as one word, lowercase, which drives me fucking nuts. I can ignore that kind of stuff because I don't make those mistakes, but I make similar mistakes where I'm just like, fuck, I didn't think of that. But, you do have a lead time of print, so you should have had it fixed. But whatever, fine. What I cannot allow is factual errors on the time period that you guys covered and were known for covering exceptionally well. I'm reading this thing in silence. Carolyn is next to me. And I just start flapping this magazine like I'm about to just choke on my own tongue and die. And the injustice burning in my heart, I couldn't. There's the feature, and it's like, 1994. Gee whiz, what was big in '94? Well, this thing happened, and that system came out, and the blood in Mortal Kombat 2 for Super Nintendo was turned into sweat. And then this thing happened in Congress, and blah blah blah. And I'm like just toes curl, fucking what? Mortal Kombat 1 was the one with the sweat.
92?
Not
3.
2 had the blood in it. Yeah, that was a huge deal.
And EGM reported heavily on it.
And you know why I know? Because you told me. Your own magazine. And I know that seems like a very trivial thing to be furious about, but it's like that was a major turning point against.
It's the cachet of the magazine, right?
What?
What? The magazine is sort of coming out on that legacy.
Yes, yeah. But EGM in the 90s was all over fighting games, and Mortal Kombat 1 not having the blood in it was a huge thing. Before that, Nintendo was perceived as not cool, and Sega was chipping away at them because of Sonic, because of their aggressive marketing. And then when Mortal Kombat came out, and Sega just made up their own rating system, MA13, and then they just literally made that shit up. And then keep in mind it's a 13 rated game, which they ripping people's heads off and whatever.
Mature 13-year-olds only.
Yes, 13-year-olds only, which I just happened to turn 13 that year, so I was in. Nice. If my parents ever even cared. But Nintendo, they took all the blood out, so all that censoring and kind of self-censoring shit that they'd kind of done and kept on the down low a little bit was now out there, and it was
stark contrast,
and was being reported on actively in magazines. No, this is different because Nintendo is censoring, and that word is horrible. Mm-hmm. So you see the word censor, and you're like, well, fuck you, buddy. I got the right to say cock bitch all I want.
Wasn't the Genesis censored too?
No, the Genesis was
there wasn't a blood. There wasn't a blood code.
There was a blood code, ABACABB.
Abacab.
And it was burned into everyone's brain for life because you put it in every time.
Let me give that to Rapar. I just want more.
What? I just recited it.
It's Abacab. He turned it into an acronym.
I didn't do anything.
You do something cute like that, and you'll get enough current affair noise. It was adorable.
Abacab. What about Darby Day? That's the debug code.
No, sorry.
All right. Anyway, and
what about Justin Bailey?
Justin Bailey.
One of my favorite acronyms.
But yeah, in Mortal Kombat 2, Nintendo realized we cannot afford to do that again. Mm-hmm. Fuck our morals that we may have had. Blood is back, and we'll put it was
that
actually
was 94, right?
It was 94.
Okay.
And it was October 94. It was October 94. It was actually just a few weeks before the ESRB actually appeared. So Mortal Kombat 2 actually doesn't have an ESRB rating on Super Nintendo. It has a specific no one under 17 should play this. It's not even ESRB. It's a specific warning on that game. Only on that game. After that, ESRB took over. Donkey Kong Country was, I believe, the first Super Nintendo game to have an ESRB rating.
And it has that warning because blood is in that game.
Because blood's in the game. And then this thing, talking about the rich heritage and proud history of EGM, gets that fucking wrong. And I couldn't, that's to me, that's equivalent with saying, well, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 came out on Super Nintendo in 1993. It's that bad to me. Yeah. Because that was when Sega versus Nintendo was
it's like saying, well, Sonic 2 was the first appearance of Knuckles the Echidna.
Yeah, it's like, you can't get shit like that wrong. Am I completely fucking nuts? Am I really blowing this out of proportion?
No.
I only because if I've never shared this story, my first week here, I got a reference to a Castlevania game wrong, and it was the first time I'd ever talked to you. and you just came over like, you made a reference to Portia Ruin. I'm like, yeah, aren't you proud that I played that? Circle of the Moon, dude. You just walked away, like you just walked away, like
you're never gonna make it here.
You'll never last.
You don't know your circles from your harmonies.
You'll never last. And like, on the one hand, I thought I was going to be impressing people, like with the fact that I could differentiate Castlevania.
Yeah,
I was 1 game off.
You were 3 games off.
All right.
Whatever. Again, it happens. Again, never ends.
But I read that, and that just. And then another thing, I thought the cover story, the new EGM, is the Street Fighter Legacy, and it's, again, like, I don't feel it did a good job of explaining the rich, detailed history of Street Fighter. It was about 4, and then a bunch of quotes from people. Good quotes.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Well,
I was really just kind of like, I expect, I don't know, maybe it's because I was expecting like a totally like kick me in the nuts issue, and it was just kind of like any issue of any magazine ever.
Well, I understand.
Which is an unfair expectation from me.
I understand at least why they did, Street Fighter as the cover.
No, I totally
that
do.
was their last cover too. Was the last cover before it
Did I ever see the light of
first
day?
time?
Wolverine was Wolverine the last cover?
Wolverine was the last published cover,
Okay.
but Street Fighter 4 was the cover with the review. Was the cover to the final issue that was made but never
that seems
printed.
like ages ago now.
You could read it on the EGM site and including read their previews for Dark Athena and for
Excuse me?
it had
It's just I read the issue. It's a great interview with David Jaffe in the back. Let's
not say mean things.
No, I already did
Let's
about
cut
that that factual thing. Like I don't know. For some reason that boiled my blood immediately. And I know it's not about throwing stones because
it's not about throwing stones.
Absolutely,
everybody's capable of getting things wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
it's just I can't believe that error made it through the number of people a magazine error has to
in
go
my
through.
dumbass brain. And at that era, yes, I would read every other game magazine and I would cross-check it with EGM.
Yeah, EGM was my reference.
Yeah, EGM was the tone.
Yeah,
that's.
Well, here's open issue 2. So
yeah, which I mean, I still bought it, so they got my money. And
will they get your money for issue 2?
Depends on what the cover is. Like
Hank, why don't you just go work there?
I did.
What are you doing?
I did. Somebody pointed out the first Google result for EGM is 1-up. So they've got an uphill battle against that, I guess.
Yeah. So maybe we should move on.
But I don't want to shit all over the magazine. The magazine itself was perfectly fine, and I'm happy that it's back because it was sad to see it go. Absolutely, it was.
Yeah.
So there's a mostly new team. Sean Baby's back on. Dan Shu has a column about games journalists. Surprise!
I have to move into game deals before you slander the legacy of EGM anymore.
I'm not gonna slander it.
All right.
I was holding it up. EGM matters, man. It's important. That's why I was hurt.
There's almost no other game deal in the world to talk about. Portal is free.
Portal is free.
Portal is free.
Huge success.
100% full game DRM free till May 24th.
It's hard to believe you haven't played it.
People who already bought it, fuck you.
It's not just that people already bought it, but like I own it on 360, which is I've never been that proud of. But you can download it on
perfectly
Steam.
Good version.
You can get the better looking version on Steam. Well, my computer
Not on my
can't
computer.
run it. My computer can't run it. It will in the future with Steam.
Right.
It'll run it optimally. There's no excuse in not having a Steam account now and getting Portal. None whatsoever.
It's free.
Doesn't even have to do anything. All you have to do is log in, get an account, have a Steam account, get Portal. 40 years from now, when you have a computer, if Valve is still up and running, you'll be able to play Portal. Fantastic.
And it's out for Steam now. Mac
for Mac.
For Mac, yeah.
For Mac. The first Mac user's first experience with Steam involves free fucking Portal.
That's pretty awesome.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Now I'll try and get into this
What
other
the lesser
bullshit that with. I see a bunch of dollar signs on my list, and that's definitely not free Portal. I see. Both Amazon and Newegg have 12-month Xbox Live subscription cards.
For how much?
$34.99. Which doesn't seem like a huge deal, but I know
like $10-15 off.
That's 15.
It is it is a little bit off, and I know I still renew by year, and just so certain people know, I'm paid that little. Like I keep having to get new cards.
We don't get free subscription.
Yeah, we don't get free subscription. I'm saying my credit cards lapse and expire, and I just have to go look for one of these. And usually I look for a deal when my shit expires.
Well, I only pay via card because I don't like if you give them your credit card, they'll just renew it for you.
Exactly.
And I don't want them doing that.
I'm not entirely comfortable with that either. But Amazon also has $10 credit on Split Second, which is a game I really like. I believe you can read a review.
Well, if we're talking about credits
on Radar, well.
Oh, no, wait. You should finish.
I don't care. Go.
If you're talking about credits, have you talked about the Red Dead Redemption deal as well?
No.
Okay.
Go for it, Hank.
So before...
Faster.
Right. So Super Mario Galaxy, you get $20 off your next game purchase, but Red Dead Redemption did it one better, where if you buy Red Dead Redemption on Amazon, you get a $20 gift card for Amazon, so you can spend it on anything on Amazon. It doesn't have to be on a future video game purchase.
Sorry, Michael.
Plus, you get some sort of golden.
Apologize to Michael, not
and you get some sort of golden guns or whatever too. But that's probably anywhere you pre-order it. But yeah, a $20 gift card. They just give you $20 to spend at Amazon for it. That's a good deal.
I got $10 back from Final Fantasy, and I don't even know how to spend it.
Just buy Red Dead Redemption.
But Split Second, you get $10 cash credit or Amazon game credit.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Split Second, and I know a lot of people don't want to take a chance on a racing game for this and that reason. But the 360 one is $45, $10 credit. Not a huge deal, right? Right.
That's a good. Yes.
But the biggest deal this week is GameStop. I don't know what the fuck GameStop is doing. God of War 3 new, $35.
Wow, pretty
Mag
good.
new, $30.
Well, I'm surprised it's not $20.
Mm-hmm. Well, it. Shut up, everybody.
That's what gives the podcast
it's just that
attitude.
They're offering new stuff at a very extreme discount, and that their used games reflect that.
Oh, so the used games are even below.
Are even lower, and this is part of some I don't know. This is part of some giant sale. I hope it's still going on by the time you're hearing this. Saver SAVER will get you free shipping. It also has BioShock 2 360. This soon down to $24.
Whoa!
$19 used.
Wow!
$19 used. Dante's Inferno $35, both PS3 and 360. $35.
Wow. I guess
shipping.
BioShock 2 is not a big hit.
I felt like in the February numbers, I thought we saw
I think it was number one in the February numbers, but when March came around, it was not in the top 10. So I don't think it had staying power like the first one had.
And I remember when I was on KOXM, Ryan from McCaffrey from OXM had like the list of like the most actively played games that week on Xbox Live, and I think BioShock 2 was actually really low on that. Like it really does seem like it just didn't do anything.
Well, who was gonna get it for multiplayer? Come on.
Well, it also new multiplayer mode.
Well, it's not just multiplayer. That tracks like the number of people logged into Xbox Live playing the game.
Well, yeah, I had a great weekend playing it. I loved BioShock 2. Yeah. Have you opened your copy of BioShock 2?
It's open, but I have not played it.
Yeah, I like the way you said that. A fantastic weekend because it was like 4 days where I just ran through BioShock.
God, it was such a good time.
Tatsunoko versus Capcom, $30, and that makes up our game deals. If I may, Tyler Wilde had also posted a story about EA. Every one of their games is going to come with. Wow, you were trying to hold back that tiredness.
Yeah, sorry.
Like you almost launched a fireball from your mouth. EA is every EA sports game is going to come with a code, and if you buy that game used and someone has put that code in, you will not be able to play online. Unless you pay $10.
So lame.
You say that's so lame. But I believe it's a very effective way of combating used game sales.
Well, I think it's effective. I also think it's shitty.
Yeah, but I also don't. I don't have a lot of pity for people who go to GameStop and sell games. Don't do that. GameStop is stealing from you practically.
I feel bad for people who would buy them off other people on eBay or like Craigslist or something.
Me
like
too.
That.
Like if your friend trades you a game, certain things should be able to.
Yeah,
work.
that's what I'm more concerned about. Is like honest trades where you're like, oh, I don't want this. Hey, can I have it for $10?
But
sure.
It's $10 to play online.
Yeah.
It's not a huge deal. It's not a huge price. Most used games, what's the difference between used games?
Well, more like $5.
$5.
Stop.
$5. And who do used games hurt most of all?
Developers. Yeah.
Actually, it turns out to be the consumers. The consumers are hurt most of all because if you sell back a game that's $60, GameStop, let's be honest, they're the only ones, will give you back $20.
Yeah.
So fuck 'em.
If you're lucky.
So fuck them.
Yep. I agree.
eBay sellers, and I'm glad. I was happy that EA was offering incentives, like for buying new. But I get this. I don't know. Am I the only one?
I don't know.
It's sort of cool.
I don't like anything that just puts this artificial limit. It's like
I like the idea.
I don't know how I ever may come into a game. Like I don't want to get a game 2 years from now that I'm like, oh cool, let me hop online, and then now it's like I need some code.
But we know that's not an issue with that. We saw Halo 2 go dark.
Well, not with Madden. You're not going to play Madden.
Well, exactly. Their games. It's like
too.
You're either buying that opening week or you don't care.
Yeah. And you walk into a GameStop and you see 1,600 NCAA 07s going for $3.99. That's a percentage of a cent. It's 39 cents. .9. 40 cents almost.
But
like they have no value.
I don't like this as much. I prefer what EA has been doing with all other games, which is like packed in free DLC in a new copy, like they did with Mass Effect 2 and with Battlefield Bad Company 2.
Dante's Inferno.
I prefer that, but when every other store has gone out of business and GameStop is reporting literally sales in the billions, based solely off of stealing money from you and from developers. I am absolutely okay with this. I think this is an okay stop.
No, I'm glad EA is pushing against.
Especially because you'll walk on a shelf. Do I get the one that's $5 less, or the new one that goes directly to developer?
No,
you'll play it online, and guess what? What that'll also do, it'll drive down used games prices. So if that doesn't interest you,
I also can't imagine anybody like. There's a certain period of time where after a certain time has elapsed, the online community for a given game is dead.
Yes.
And there's no. If you bought a game like all those times we were like pimping Dark Sector, like buy it's $5, it's totally worth $5. The online's been dead for 2 years.
Yeah.
You could offer me $10, but I don't need it because no one's there.
Exactly. But I mean that's about how much it's worth. But in EA's case, I know a lot of them are sports games, and this is all occurring within I want to say an umbrella of 8 months.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine.
Well, I recently got mad at. Bring up AJ Glasser again. Like I was with her and she bought Mass Effect 2 but like used, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing this? You're not getting the packed in deal. She's like, I don't care. Who cares? I'll just save $5.
So everybody's right not to care about this, but $5 in terms of a $60 game, like
yeah, it's like that. You practically doubled GameStop's profit, and then you gave nothing to the people who made the game.
Yes.
When you buy a used game for $5 off,
you wonder why the industry hurts, and it's sort of the GameStop behavior, which everybody wants to emulate. Believe me.
But it didn't work for Game Crazy.
Didn't work for Game Crazy.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Community. Is it time for musical chairs?
Do you want to do that? Do you have?
I have them. It's 9:40. I don't know if we want to do.
Let's do them all next week.
Okay. Yeah,
let's do a question of the week. I'm exhausted.
All right.
I'm exhausted. We'll pick up with the phone calls next week.
All right, hang on. Okay, community segment.
Community
segment. Still kind of reeling from 100, and I was gone Monday and Tuesday, so phone calls from 1-877-404-1337, extension 327. Not even going to say TDar anymore, because apparently that's too confusing.
It was confusing for me.
But there's still a shitload of phone calls, and you played a ton during the 100 podcast.
Apparently not enough.
No, there were so many. It was like freakishly impossible because we recorded.
I was baffled that we had a woman in there. Holy shit!
We recorded early, and then you had to leave, so it was very difficult. But then again, this week still running a little behind. So next week we'll purposely play a bitchload of phone calls from you guys because there's so fucking many that are backlogged, and I've actually got a list ready to go for next week, so we'll be good. But this week, we didn't have a question of the week last week, because it was 100, and we wanted to focus on that.
And there were no questions. Your answer was awesome.
Your answer was awesome. But so next week, playing your phone calls, a lot of them. But this week, I'm actually going to something we should have done, and this is a good time to do it. The question of the week numbering and the podcast numbering has not been correct because we started question of the week like 15 episodes in or whatever it was. So it was always like TalkRadar 96, question of the week number 72. So beginning with this, I'm pulling a Final Fantasy VII, and it's just question of the week 101 from now on.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
So there's the lost questions.
Jot that down, Turbo.
Yeah.
Boom. This is a megaton announcement.
It's nobody cares.
I might have an explosion noise.
Perfect.
All right.
I thought you were gonna go. Why? That's good too.
Right.
Where are all these classic sounds that are just gone? There's no dolphins.
If I have to operate a board and notes,
I know. I got it.
All right.
So
easy. It's a hell of a smoker's cough for someone who doesn't even drink Coke.
Oh.
I was waiting for a reaction. Like he just looks sad.
Usually you have a good comeback. Hank usually hits me with shit.
That's
Nothing?
okay. That's okay.
Call me a jerk.
Fuck you.
There you go.
Question of the week 101.
Mm-hmm.
But really not.
101.
Go to gamesradar.com/forums and pretend to care. We'll have call back to the top 7. Well, I'm losing it.
I'm drinking.
The walls are breathing. The top 7, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Michael's writing one right now.
Remember several hours ago when we.
I bet he is.
The top 7 was the best game demos. And that's the question of the week. What's the best game? No, it's
what
was your fondest memory of a game demo, or what was your favorite?
What's a notable game demo?
Game demo for you? Because obviously the top 7, we had to sift. Justin Towle, who wrote it, had to sift through about 100,000 possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the question of the week. Go to gamesradar.com/forums, TalkRadar podcast. Mm-hmm. Mine, if I may begin.
Go for it.
Okay.
We might all step on each other's toes a little bit here, but there was actually one demo disc from PlayStation Underground probably that I got that had the Parappa the Rapper demo, and it was Chop Chop Master Onion.
Oh,
and what everyone remembers.
Yeah, and it was like the first time anyone got to see or play it in the U.S. at least. And that was when I was, holy shit, this game is so much fun. It's like when language and words coming out of a game. Yeah, and then this catchy song starts, and it looked so fucking specific and unique, and like it was unlike anything else. And it was I played that song over and over and over, and it had a bunch of shitty other games on there like Bravo Air Race and Rage Racer or Rave Racer, whatever the fucking games were. But I think that same one also had Intelligent Cube. I don't think Jet Moto was on there. Could have been, but Intelligent Cube. It was a puzzle game where you ran around as this dude and lit up tiles, and these cubes were like stomping towards you.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Ico on the PS2 demo disc. I played that over and over.
I don't want to get mine out of the way because it's boring. Saturn came with Major League Baseball, which was for a while. I'm not even a big baseball fan. Was for a while the best baseball game.
Yeah, if you've got someone else to play with, it's fucking amazing.
It was the Sega one, and it came with Home Run Derby, and I did that over and over and over again at Chicago Cubs. Somebody help me out.
Chicago Cubs are our team.
What's that? Fenway?
Yeah.
Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Field, the one with the grassy wall.
I just want to say I think it's kind of a travesty that Doom was left out of that list. The first episode of fucking Doom
was shareware.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe it wasn't in the UK. I don't know.
Maybe, but I think that's one of the most significant demos that was ever released. And I think one of my favorites. I make fun of this series a lot now, but Dynasty Warriors 2, the demo that they ran on PS2s, like in stores around the time, like a little bit before the PS2 came out. That was just fucking incredible.
Yeah, totally.
Just like ignoring the mission structure, whatever, just charging around, and it's like I'm being swarmed by a shit ton of dudes, and I'm just throwing them in different directions with a fucking spear. This is the best brawler I've ever played.
Yeah, it was definitely a fresh experience.
Fun Dynasty Warriors memories.
Yeah,
wow,
that's the only one you'll get. Also the horse. That was cool. Perfect. I found the horse.
Well, there was a very significant one that they skipped over, which was Final Fantasy VII, which, not unlike Zone of Enders, everybody bought Tobal #1 to get the Final Fantasy VII demo and play through it a million times over and over again.
I did play that over and over.
Yeah. And one that was very important to me was the BioShock demo, because it's such a great start. I love it. Like, it's the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes of the game, and it sells you on it perfectly.
What was the Brave Fencer Musashi? Did it come with Bushido Blade?
I can't remember. Something like that.
I remember number 8. I remember FF8 came with it.
Bushido Blade, I remember playing over and over a single level, and I don't remember what
God,
it was. I played that because it was on probably that same demo disc.
I think it was on a giant demo disc, but we should go because the computer's about to run out of memory.
I'm about to run out of fucking space.
What's the ending song?
The ending song actually comes from the demo disc that launched with the PlayStation.
Wow.
Whoa.
And it's from Tommy Tallarico. Tallarico?
Yeah, former GR host, G4 host,
Typhlosion,
GR host.
Yes, from Electric Playground fame and Video Games Live and all that stuff. But yeah, he wrote. This was the song that played when you turn on your PlayStation, put in that demo disc, and this is like freshman year of high school. It was like Sony's brand new into the game. Is this system gonna matter? Did I waste my money selling all my Sega shit to buy this thing? All I know is this fucking guitar song comes on, and all these like slideshow of stock photos of video games start popping up, and like that song is burned into my brain. But it's from a demo disc, and if you bought a PlayStation like in the first year, you'll know this song very well.
Yeah, let's go.
Goodbye.
TalkRadar 101 is over.
No. TalkRadar 101.